Yeah, you know what time it is, baby. ISUPK presents.
All right, ISUPK, going to you. One West, Harlem, New York, 125th Street.
What's the One West? If I could train a dragon, I could dance, tame a lion. Any climate, and I'm shining like a diamond out of Zion.
Mister, what's going on with you, man? Precinct Captain Dog Officer 31, man. Listen, inviting you to our West Coast barbecue. You know, every year we having a barbecue on the West Coast, man. Can't wait to see y'all from all over the country pulling up in Las Vegas. It's gonna be a blast again. If anyone been to Las Vegas, you know it's a good time. You get what I'm saying? We're gonna have a good time again. You know what I mean? Big things go on, parties, barbecues. I know y'all like to gamble. We're gonna gamble a little bit too, man, and drink good liquor. You know what I mean? Most importantly, being community and is gonna be in the building, so you gotta show up. If you're on the West Coast, man, in any surrounding areas, and when I say surrounding areas, I mean everywhere across America, pull up, man. You know what I mean? The head of the nation, Israel, gonna be there, man, with his solid generals, man. General Muhammad, General Mayat, you know what I'm saying? General Hazayan, General Katham Gabar, General Ayah Shawamar, General General Kabbalah, you know, General Q gonna be in the building. So, you know, we cannot wait to see y'all, man. You know what I mean? So pull up December 1st through the 4th. It's going to be a blast of the weekend. We have a good time, man. I'm going to be there. Dr. Juan going to be there. The Wall, he's off camera. Get in the camera at the Wall. He going to be there as well. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a blast, man. Las Vegas. Tune in. Hey, shout out to Officer Shabal. He's running the whole thing. Shout out to the Las Vegas team. They're going to do everything that's in accordance to having a good time for you. Pull up, Las Vegas, December 1st to the 4th. We're going to be there, man. Shalom.
You be carrying every hood like a transmission. You could thank the general, I had the bar. Niggas running out of time like I had a mar. Red cup, black label, I'm a connoisseur. I'ma leave it wet if I draw the sword. Nigga, it's the
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rebel, busy man, shit, nigga. They turn their head over, nigga. Okay, what Eve did to Adam. them, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like stamps and I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, oh they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert, another cop can stretch the nigga. He a demon, this an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gonna get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision, let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit, I ain't listening, is in fact the fear. If revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jacob. War, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. As who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? What he saying something, I ain't hear him. This shit light. It ain't on who got this gun, it's on who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitch about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow son, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his gang, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
What up, though, Detroit?
It's for the Lord. It's for the Lord. Pay your tithes when you get your money. Pay your tithes when you get your money. Huh? Pay your tithes when you get your money. Pay your tithes when you get your money. Money. Pay your tithes when you get your money. Money. Pay your tithes when you get your money. Melchizedek met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings. Abraham gave 10th of all his things. When a Christian rob God, that's a Christian robbing me. But you want to say, how does a Christian rob thee? Money. The pastor is robbing me. Money. The Christian pastor is robbing me. Bring your tithes inside the storehouse, so it could be me and every UPK house. ISUPK, the stone commander general is the pillar for the Lord's house. If you don't know the Bible, you won't understand what I'm talking about. And that right there might be bad for you. But listen, this is something ye can do. Honor the Lord with substance and give him your first fruits. Give and watch it come right back to you. Endure to the ending in this truce. Cause nobody is saved till Christ come back. The pastor lie about you being saved just to get that stack. Evil ass pastor. That's all he's for, the money, man. You understand? You want your money? Come on, let's get it. Pay your tithes when you get your money. Pay your tithes when you get your money. What? Pay your tithes when you get your money. Pay your tithes when you get your money. Money. Pay your tithes when you get your money. Money. To pay your tithes when you get your money. 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 Pay your tithes when you get your money.
3, 2, 1, game begin.
It's been a while, fuck a smile, 1969 UPK style. 10 months in the room, now I'm back in my human form. Pleading with the school, just a Jake, seeking room and board. Many bulls chilling with the Legion of Doom. I was married to this bitch, had me even jump the broom. Now I cut a cartoon like a GT, Carrera warfare, bloodshed, much terror, terrier. Better yet, I'll control the flying saucer, we ain't offering swine's flesh on the Lord's altar. Check the resurrection, lock you, lost in the sauce, sir. He ain't worth the energy, much less the cough, sir. Prepare to slaughter, put his head on the charger, nigga. We build men and that ain't never gonna falter. Job was the Baptist, but Rabbit malefactor, yeah, I was shot. The only nigga worthy of his axes while my neighbors mutilated. The laborers get a penny, but the outcome for the 12 tried to serve it. Now I'm in your city cause the general sent me. Consider it a gift, it's been a half a century. 400 years is still a penitentiary for Eric Gardner's life. Ain't he born for life? Coat, white t-shirt, blue jeans and Nikes. Nowadays you gotta wear skinny jeans to get brights. Not to mention all the pussy they poppin' to get lights. This is doomsday. Christ ain't interested in your cash. Soon as I get the order, I'm coming to kick your ass. Now you wanna run it back. Big mouth, Billy Bass, fill the blast with that extra heat. I do it to it expertly. You can call it destiny when really he requested me. Kick against the bricks, you better turn down and turn up. The heaven's all about to burn up. I'm talking about two in the field, but only one is gonna turn up. All you wanted was a rapture, the other one's getting fucked. I'm talking 6 ways from Sunday, the body's gonna erupt. In the midst of this corruption, part of the interruption. Shit, I thought you were a very surf coat. I'm no deduction. We out to try to function, they out of on a luncheon. That's the reason we serve spontaneous combustion. Reverse engineering, what you're hearing is a blueprint. That's why you get caught up in bullshit. I rebuke it, chucking up the deuces when I produce solutions. Woman, thou art bound, now the strong man is loosened. Law out of gag, you were swinging the flag. But it's a coward, it's a hard burden for that ass. We got a classic connection. I borrows from the past and like an everlast punching back, son. Just do the math. Your reporters on the other side, warriors got a class. Drilling the upper class, turning sinners from swindlers into triggers. When it comes to this fate, we the defenders, we the greatest to exist. Same time I ain't shit. Reverse psychology, I'm logically taking risks. I'm making hits, I'm a UPK hit, man. Leaning like a kickstand in poverty, I'm rich, man. Mobbing through the rich, man. Balling like a fist, man. White knuckle gripping, I'm holding to rigor mortis. One Western, you notice, there's no ulterior motives. Fully focused, fully goaded, little notice, fire up. Get it cracking, let a host of locusts devour the POTUS. Not ahead of status, in the day to stay fucking with Moses. The people that were chosen, our conversation ain't proven. We was hoping for a miracle, they laid the books open. Now we dosing, no emotion, they be boasting. So we told forward every threat they pose in IT. I'm writing coded, I'm Wolverine, they be loading, they be roasted, I'm reloaded. It's a foster paradise for me, but not my man Corbin. Hell is open and launching it like an ocean. Now it's overflowing, flooding with German spitting her bubbles, they republish. But we the real Jews, they the copyright infringements. We the real niggas, they the copyright infringements. We the real wetbacks, they copyright infringements. Real savages, they the copyright infringements. Real Seminoles, they copyright infringements. Real West Indians, they copyright infringements. For real Puerto Ricans, they the copyright infringements. Real Nicaraguans, they the copyright infringements. Tucson, Lovato, they the copyright infringements. Colombia, Sunnia, they the copyright infringements. True rulers out of Cuba, they the copyright infringements. We gon' boom ya, child, and fuck the copyright infringements. We gon' boom ya, child, and fuck the copyright infringements. We gon' boom ya, child, and fuck the copyright infringements. We gon' boom ya, child, and fuck the copyright infringements. Woke up, took a deep breath, realized I was suffocating from real nigga prism. I ain't even have to eat yet, got a full plate, recognizing they don't recognize my rhythm. Tell a devil he can eat a dick. Real spit, that's lit, I know, cause I'm bugged while he's down on his lungs. Fill his guts with village rust, spitting, eating us lunch fast, 4,795 months. But we finna take over for the 9. Once and for all, glass slipper in the jaw. Later, liberties are trying to gotta kick in the balls. About just cause, every beat has faults or flaws. But us can't even call for help. All we have is so-called knowledge of self. Even that's manufactured, whole pride is kept. More money, more problems, we acquire more debt.
protect generational wealth at the bottom of a well. Solitary confinement in a mighty cold cell. In a land which no man dwell. All the violence being felt. Neck harness with a noose whip back full of wealth from the terror in your eyes. To the vision of the youth, deformed, be born by the C4. Units in the city in the drop, that's Nino. Separate your wig from your scalp, that's chemo. Sabi, no weed, no molly, act vivo, lottie, that Hollywood shit is for the birds. Frankly, I'm really perturbed. Doesn't anyone serve the people that deserve a hero reserved and regal immersed in evil in a place with a race that emerged. Illegal got zero tolerance for ego tolerance. I see no progress, why we so confident. Cold day in hell when this hell freezes over you. The only thing colder is the stare of a warrior. The tell is hella watered down. The truth is always warrior. Endure to the end, even when it lies in the den and it's time to make amends. Glass ceilings brassing over. My profession is connected with the shot dives. Yeah, I used to hot box, smacking like some pop rap, running like a stopwatch. Everything top notch when they want to hopscotch flip flop. Listen like some titties out of crop top. City on clock. Nigga know a nigga talking patois. Everybody back off. 3, 2, 1, finna blast off. Drop a bitch, how they do it in a dance hall. WWE on the freak, J Dez want the beat, so it's always eat. No, we always eat good. Fleetwood making out of each hood. Holy is the priest, superior to preachers, fucking let them drink. But the condition of my people is an emo for religion, and the alternate opinion is an enemy of God. Been raped, robbed, murdered, forgot. With a victim mentality, we created a facade with the makeup on. It's a bruise, barrage, abused by the blase vibe. This is all late folk, this is all late folk. By they, I mean white folk, Caucasians, cavemen. The synagogue of Satan is a fine dog, is blazing. I'm a stoke it in the mind. I was high, people slaying niggas going super saiyan, growing beards. It's amazing. Go to church, that's pagan, that cross, that hangman, a cranium for maintaining all dethrone. But to break that mode, I rip the soul out with a switchblade. Let it know not to be bitch made. You'll find out on this day. It's the Lord's battle, so shit take. A cold day in hell when this hell freezes over you. The only thing colder is the stare of a warrior. The tell is hella watered down. The truth is always warrior. Endure to the end. Even when it lies in the den and it's time to make amends.
One, never be a bitch and run. You gotta fight for an eye for an eye, gun for a gun. Even if it's evil for evil, we your people. Two, always stay down with the truth. Once I weed out the fake, now I'm down to a few. It's never ever been about numbers. Yeah, I'd rather have a couple of shooters, long as they real gunners. Three, always keep some soldiers around me. Spoken prophecies go forth to make the blind see. Trying to lead a horse to the water, and you ain't got a drink, but the other option is slaughter. Four, we risk our life for the sick and poor. Truth, I spit it raw, you ain't never heard this before. We gotta ride for each other, we ain't nothing like the others. For the blood of my brothers. If you wanna ride, nigga, let's ride. And if you wanna slide, nigga, we can slide. For the blood of my brothers, I ride. For my brothers, we'll die for each other. If you wanna ride, nigga, let's ride. And if you wanna slide, nigga, we can slide. For the blood of my brothers, I ride. For my brothers, we'll die for each other. If you wanna ride, if you wanna ride, it's for the blood of my brothers, I ride. With my brothers, we'll die for each other. And if you wanna slide, nigga, we can slide. It's for the blood of my brothers, I ride. For my brothers, we'll die for each other, nigga. 5, if I say slide, then my niggas slide. Why y'all devils trying to get active? My niggas stay live, certified. I'll put my fucking name on it. Cold word, thunderstorm, bullets make it rain on them. 6, had to trade a garment for a chopstick. I know my op sick, it's wartime, it's time to mop shit. And yeah, we know your last known whereabouts. Searching through them holes in the rocks, we bout to air it out. 7, trying to build the kingdom of heaven. The first order of business is to silence the reverend. Yeah, all the churches we gotta seize. Go to Captain Kahan and tell him, sir, we got the keys. Gotta make sure my niggas straight. We don't know the date, but the saints patiently wait.
Wrap it up, let's get it on. Ooh-wee. I think this chair is something wrong with it. Get another chair? Yeah, come. Baba Kashan, let's get another chair for the general. All right, Akim Aguafian, where are we at tonight? We'll do the Kanye, not the Kyrie Irving, right? We'll do politics. We'll do Barack Obama. We have a few video clips to back you up on the Kyrie Irving story. And I'll answer your questions in the room and online. Let's go. First question, you're up. I'm good. I'm fine for what? Go ahead. Whenever you're ready, up.
Salakia, sir. If I may, I'm trying to find out who would be the Chaldeans of today. Cause when I look in the Zondervan, right, it says the country of which Babylon was the capital, and which conquered Judah and carried its inhabitants into captivity. So I know in the triangle slave trade with the Ishmaelites and Hamites and
Ishmaelites, Hamites, and what's the other one?
Esau.
Not Shemites. Esau is a Shemite. Let me just give you the answer, right? The people of the Chaldeans were Adamites or Shemites. They come from Noah. They're the forefathers of Abraham. Abraham's family were Chaldeans. So imagine they come out of Adam, out of the chosen seed of Adam, out of Hebrew. They come out of there. Abraham came from them, and his family worshiped the stars. So they're not a nation that will be around today. They're a Shemitic people before Israelites, before the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Because Abraham came from them. Abraham is one of the forefathers of the 12 tribes of Israel.
So,
you understand?
Second part of my question, I'm trying to find out the book where Hitler he was explaining how basically why he killed the Jewish people.
Yeah, you can probably find that online by now. That might be in Mein Kampf, which means my struggle in German. It might be there, but I'm not positive about that. But he explained, I know what you need. You need the news article when he saw Jesse Owens in the 1939 Olympics. Also, give me the picture, the Nazi propaganda of the black Jew playing the saxophone. And under that picture, it says that Adolf Hitler hated jazz music because it was black and the Jews are black. And it's right under the picture, which is the real reason that Adolf Hitler hated the so-called Jew. Come on.
Salakia, is there something that
Anytime you're ready, Akim, I'll take a drink if you got one, all right?
Is there something that says Adolf Hitler killed the Jewish man because the Jewish man wanted to be black?
Yes, that's my point. Yes, exactly.
So can I use that in the speaking to say even Adolf Hitler knew that the Jewish man was anti-Semitic?
No. Adolf Hitler was a disgusting, evil devil. And you do not want to say anything as if Adolf Hitler was on your side. Because Adolf Hitler killed white people because they were acting like disgusting niggers. Do you understand? The reason that Adolf Hitler killed 6 million Jewish people is because he believed in the purity of the race. And we are impure. We're disgusting. So imagine a white man today who would hate white kids listening to hip hop. You get my point? You've seen that before, right? Where a white father just can't stand, to see a black man having sex with a white woman. To see a white boy acting like a wigger or a white nigger.
Right.
Adolf Hitler hated blacks and Hispanics so much that he believed it was disgusting to try to behave like them. And if white people begin to behave like black people, it would destroy the white race.
Right.
And he believed that Jewish people were destroying the white race because they were mimicking and taking on the culture of black people.
Right.
And to be a Jew is black culture.
Right.
You get my point. So what you don't want to do is act like, Hitler was right because he was not. He hated us so much. He would have killed 100 million of us if he had his opportunity. If he could have gotten to invade America, oh my God, he'd have killed every black and every Hispanic, period. You get my point? And then that way we couldn't push our culture on white people. Then white people wouldn't be acting like Jews, if not for our influence. This is what you need right here. And what I need also with this picture is the caption under it, Asher. 1 second. The caption under this that's explaining this picture. All right, make it large. Okay, this picture was up in France, Nazi-occupied France. At the beginning of World War II, Germany invaded France. and they occupied France for about 3 or 4 years, right? And this picture went all up everywhere in France because at that time, when people like Josephine Baker were in France, and France was heavy into black music, into jazz music. And so once the Germans occupied France, they outlawed white people going to jazz nightclubs. And you weren't allowed to go to jazz nightclubs because, scroll up a little bit right here. Okay, this off. I used to remember what this says. Where's Ein Harburg von Stratzart? That's black. Meaning this is saying that jazz music is for the Jews. The Jews are black right here. Right. And that's the cat who wrote it. That's the cat who made this artwork. Right. Dr. H.S. Zilliger. Someone look that up, and Asher can find it real fast on what that means and what that's about. Just get the caption in English that'll be under it. All right. All right. The water. And everybody sees what it is. It's a black person playing jazz music with the shield around his neck. Everybody understands.
The water, sir.
All right, the water. Next. I appreciate it. Go ahead. Please.
So I got a question in Second Corinthians 12 and 14. I'm gonna read the scripture, sir. Right?
Go ahead.
Behold, this is 2 Corinthians 12 and 14. Behold, the third time I am ready to come to you, and I will not be burdensome to you, for I seek not yours but you. For the children ought not to lay up for the parents, but the parents for the children. I wanted to know what it meant when it said the children ought not to lay up for the parents, and the parents for the children.
This is right before Christ was leaving to be crucified and died, and to come back. Is that what we read? Is this the New Testament?
This is New Testament, sir. It's in the Corinthians.
This is Christ. This is not. This is Christ speaking.
This should be the letters of Paul.
Okay, solid. Then read one verse above it. Actually, when you have it, let me know. All right. All you need is the explanation of what this picture is. Go ahead. I'll read it. Read one verse above it.
Verse 13. For what is it wherein you were inferior to other churches?
Okay, one more. What this is? 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter.
12th chapter, sir.
12.
2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians.
Okay, I got questions about some verses, like 10 verses up.
Okay, 10 verses. Give me a few verses up just to give everyone the context. All right.
Okay,
go ahead.
I got a question in verse 5 too. So I'm gonna start at verse 5.
Solid.
All right, 2 Corinthians 12 and 5. Of such an one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities. So I will add a question of what he meant by glorying in his infirmities.
Meaning this whole chapter, what we're going to read about now, right, is Paul speaking about how much he loved this particular school or this particular church, that he took money and goods from other schools and gave it to them. Do you understand? So imagine a school that was poor and in need of help. So he took money from other schools and gave it to this school. And now he's telling them that he did it because he loved them so much. All right. And he glories in his infirmities. Infirmities is weaknesses, meaning he doesn't glory about how rich he is. He glories about how poor he is because his poverty is chosen by him. He chose to be poor, which is something that the rich of this world can't understand. You'd be shocked how many black people are thinking that Kyrie Irving and Kanye West are stupid and they're ignorant because they would dare think that $100 million is enough. That they made 90 million. And so they should just continue to bend over backwards for some devil to emasculate them because they could make another 100 million or another 300 million. That our people believe, because of our oppressor, believe that there is no amount of money that can ever be enough. You can never say, well, I have this money, so now I'll keep my integrity. Well, Paul is saying he doesn't glory in his strengths. He glories in his weaknesses because he made himself weak for these schools. You understand? He made himself poor for these schools. So he can glory in the fact that he's not rich, that he doesn't have the money that politicians and preachers have, because he sacrificed having those things for you. That's the point. You understand? Keep going.
I had a question in one verse up too, sir.
Go ahead.
2 Corinthians 12 and 4. How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which is not lawful for a man to utter. My question was, is paradise death?
No. Caught up into paradise. This is Paul speaking. without me reading where you're at, just read above and tell me who's speaking right here.
Okay,
or if it's speaking about somebody in the Old Testament.
Verse 2 says, I knew a man in Christ about 14 years ago. Whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell.
Let me give you the story. So Paul is talking about something that happened to him, the amazing things that have happened to him while he's doing the work of the Most High. A lot of you priests in here know what I'm talking about. Once you decide to live this life, to come in and take your oath and become a priest in the Israelite school of UPK, brother, you are going to live a life of adventure. I mean, you're going to travel and see visions and dreams and have just amazing things happen to you that really is hard to describe. The kind of things that will happen to you after you take that oath and commit yourself to keeping it. Paul is talking about one of those instances in his life. He read it from the top now.
From verse 1 or from
I knew a man. Go ahead.
2 Corinthians 12:2. I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago.
So I knew a man in Christ. In Christ meaning what?
In the body, in the school.
In the school. I knew a man in the school. Go ahead.
14 years ago.
14 years ago.
14 years ago.
Above, meaning longer than 14 years ago. Go ahead.
Parentheses. Whether in the body, I cannot tell.
What does that mean? Whether in the body, I cannot tell. What does that mean?
Whether he was in the school, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was in the school. Maybe he wasn't. Now, I'll explain it to you in a way that almost everyone will understand. You meet someone and you're not sure if they're an angel or if they're not an angel. Is this a brother? Who is this? That is a common occurrence in the UPK. Well, you'll go, I met some brother while I was walking the camp. I don't know who this cat is. And you start talking to him and he might come sit in the class and you just get the weirdest vibe about this brother. Now, that's a UPK thing. That's something that brothers in the school understand. That happened to Paul. He don't know where this cat was or what he was in or what. Keep going.
Whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell.
You understand? Keep going.
The Most High knoweth.
But the Most High knows. Keep going.
End of parentheses. Such an one caught up to the third heaven.
Such an one caught up to the third heaven. What does that mean? What's the third heaven? That's where the Most High dwells. Such an one. The first heaven would be the sky that you look above your head and you see. The second heaven would be the stars that are above that sky. The third heaven is where the Most High sits because heaven is his throne. He's sitting on the stars. Those are precepts I just quoted, all right? Keep going.
If I could, so that goes back to the time when you said a couple years ago that the Most High lives behind the blackness of space.
There you go. Correct. Keep going.
Verse 3, sir. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth. Verse 4. How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter.
So he was caught up into paradise. So what did this man go through? Not Paul, but what did the man go through? Just think. Come on.
He was going through things that other brothers usually wouldn't go through in the world.
Okay. He was caught up to paradise, meaning he was caught up to the third heaven. Who's in the third heaven? The Most High. So what happened to him? He didn't die. He didn't die. No.
He had a vision.
Give him a hand.
Okay.
That's all. It's just that simple. You know, you'll go to sleep at night and you see angels while you're sleeping. Angels. And you see a vision of the Most High, or the Most High speaks to you. You were in the third heaven that night. You were talking to him and his angels, which meant your consciousness or subconsciousness was with him, communicating with him. Well, this man had this event happen to him, and he came back and told Paul about it. He told Paul what happened. Keep going. You want that next part, right?
I had a question where it says unspeakable words.
Read it again.
How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter.
Who can explain that? I'll give you a shot. Unspeakable words, which is not lawful for a man to utter. Come on, go ahead.
Is he hearing things that? Is he hearing the words of other people?
Okay, don't think how can I describe it without giving you the answer? Don't think that the things that he heard were evil, say evil things that people did, or telling him something to do evil. There are some things that the Most High doesn't want you to tell anybody. I just damn near gave you the answer because that's a direct precept. Come on.
If I may, sir.
Mm-hmm.
If I may, sir, he's hearing the words that only the angels.
And if
knows.
if you hear things that only the angels hear, telling someone that would be what? I damn near just gave it to you again.
That would be unlawful.
I thought you were right there.
Good.
Okay. Think of the topic, Hazahab, the topic. So the Most High talks to me. He tells me all kinds of things, the mysteries of the universe, everything, tells it to me directly, comes to me at night and breaks it down to me. And I go tell all of you that that's what's happening to me. That would be unlawful because it would be
unnatural.
No, brother. No. In this scenario, it's true. In this scenario, it's not a lie.
Unbelievable.
In this scenario, they believe it, and because they believe it, they think what? Oh God! Read the rest of it. Read the rest of it. Come on.
Verse 4 again.
No. Read the rest of it.
Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Of such an one will I glory.
Of such an one will I glory, meaning I'll glory about him. Keep going.
Colon. Yet of myself I will not glory.
There are certain things. Christ said this. Christ healed the man. There was a man who was blind. And Christ spit on the ground and made mud and then rubbed it on the blind man's eyes. And then the blind man could see. What did he tell the blind man? Officers. Abadia.
Don't say anything.
He told him, go into the city, wash your face in the pool, and tell no man of what I did for thee. The blind man, of course, went and told everybody, as he should. Went and told everybody. And then right under that in the book of John, it says that there are many things, acts of Christ, that he did do, that he told no man to tell anyone about. And if they were written down, there would not be enough books in the world that could hold these acts. Why did Christ do amazing things and tell everyone not to tell anyone about it? Something you won't find in politicians or reverends. Something you will find in the Israelite school of UPK. You want me to tell you what the answer is? Humility. That's the answer. Humility. And humility is lawful. And to not be humble is unlawful. You understand? To be humble, like, not to glorify yourself. You understand? And in the UPK, we make sure not to do that because of the example by Commanding General Yohanan, who does amazing things and who he orders me, don't say anything about it. Don't tell anyone about it at all. And I can't. You get my point? All right. This is the lawful thing. To do something amazing and to have something amazing happen to you, and not to go to church in a Rolls Royce and in a jet so you can tell everyone how great you are and how wonderful you are and how much money you have. Not to be a braggart. Paul said, thou hast made me a fool in glorying. Paul didn't want to glorify himself. And there were certain times when he had to, because if he didn't glorify himself, you would follow some man who does. That's also in the Bible. You familiar with that precept, correct? That's why it's unlawful, because it's proud. You understand? And pride is unlawful. Come on.
It goes on to say the exact same thing you're saying.
That's why I'm saying it.
To read it, sir.
If please go ahead.
Verse 6. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool.
There you go.
For I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be.
That's why the thing is unlawful. You understand? Because if you knew about him, my God, you drop down on your damn knees in front of him. So he doesn't say anything about it. He keeps it to himself and he glorifies the Most High. And he glories in the glory of other men who saw visions and who had amazing things happen to them. I knew a brother about 14 years ago, man, was caught up into paradise, said amazing things you shouldn't even say. I'll tell you about him. I'll tell you about his vision. I'll tell you about what Captain Katazar does out in that street corner and Tazar Yako in Clubhouse. God damn. Do you know about Tazar Yako in Clubhouse? Have you heard of him on there? Have you heard of him with Cross the Line and the things that he does? And with Mashak out there in D.C., and what you brothers do out here in Harlem, my God, Commanding General Yohana glories in that, in your achievements and the things that you do. And that's what Paul is trying to teach everyone. And it's something that we learned in here because we're well led. And the church is not. You understand? You get the point, I'm sure, right? Anything else? Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Do you think? Come on.
Okay, sir. I'm gonna start at 12, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, the signs of an apostle were wrought among you in all patience, in signs and wonders and mighty deeds. 13.
So why is he saying that, Hazahab? Surely the works of an apostle were wrought in you with all signs of patience and mighty deeds. Why is he saying surely? What's the point, Hazahab?
I'm not sure, sir.
No problem. He's trying to say, haven't I showed you that I am a prophet of God? He's saying that because they don't believe he's a prophet of God. So he's saying, surely I've shown you that I'm a prophet of God with patience and work and diligence. Surely you should know that I'm a prophet of God, but yet you don't. So in essence, then he's having to brag when he doesn't want to brag. He doesn't want to give his record because it's prideful and foolish, but you're pushing to it. So what in the hell can he do? So I just order everyone to put General Yohana's face up on the wall. Whatever. I'm putting it up there. General Yohana said, do not put that face up on the wall. Do not do it. By the time he saw it, it was already up there. I can that's that. All right. And that's a true story. That is an absolutely true story. Okay. I had to disobey that one, Akin. Because once again, somebody should know. Surely you should. Right? I shouldn't have to put a picture on the goddamn wall. You should know already. All right. Come on. Anything else? Come on. 1 second. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Behold, the third time I am ready to come to you, and I will not be burdensome to you.
Behold, I'm coming to you for a third time, and I'm not going to be a burden on you. How would he be a burden on them? By them having to feed him and take care of him and house him and lodge him. So he's saying, I'm coming to your city, but I'm not going to be a burden on you when I come to your city. Keep going.
For
1 second. Go ahead, Doc.
For I seek not yours.
Because I'm not there to get yours. What is yours? Your wealth, your money, your lodging, your food, your wine. I'm not there to take from you. That's not why I'm coming. Keep going.
But you. That's
why I'm coming. You're going to have 1,000 fake Israelite groups that are going to be stalking Kyrie Irving like a pretty girl on Instagram. They're going to hunt him down like an Instagram hoe. Why? Because they love Kyrie Irving? I don't think so. Because, of course, they want his money and want every penny that Kanye West has because they don't have any shame or dignity. They're just whores. Come on.
Salaki, it's funny you say that because you got Farrakhan going bananas with Kyrie.
I forgot about him. Farrakhan probably put on a basketball jersey and went out and played and went out and practiced his crossover and his jump shot. Yeah, they don't want Kyrie Irving. You get my point? They want him because he's rich, because they're in love with rich men and the money that rich men can give them. But of course, the UPK, we do this for the poor. These brothers in here are former murderers and gangbangers and brothers fresh out of the pod. Everybody understands that. That's who's here. That's who we fish. That's our constituency. Come on.
Khan, my question is on subject, and also I had another question regarding Farrakhan.
Go ahead.
The first one is Matthew 6. I remember a few months ago, I came to you because Katz was saying, "Oh, you're giving alms while telling people," but explaining what you just brought out. That's not us giving alms. That's us showing what a good man does, right?
That's in the Bible.
Khan. And also, as far as Farrakhan goes, I don't know if you have time tonight, but I had some nut. A lot of people have been really saying, "Oh, it came to us first," and I've been seeing a few people. No, Farrakhan. I don't know if you got some time.
It came to us first.
We were meaning people are going around saying, like, there's one status on Facebook. Oh, The niggas on 125th been telling y'all that for years, what Kyrie Irving saying for years.
Okay.
And somebody went on the comments like, oh, actually, that's Farrakhan. And I just wanted to know if you had a better time to just go over the history of the school just to explain. We've been on the streets before 1969.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Right.
This has what we teach. Not only does it not come from Farrakhan. Farrakhan hated it and killed someone to stop them from teaching it. Abba Bivens was murdered on the streets of Newark, New Jersey by the Nation of Islam for saying that the Jews were black. And that's a fact, and it can't be disputed. It was during the time when Malcolm X was telling everyone that they should worship the God of the Arabs. Farrakhan is a Muslim. He worships Arabs. Farrakhan does not keep the law of the Bible. He does not consider himself an Israelite at all. He considers himself a wannabe Arab. And the Nation of Islam murdered Abba Bivens, who was one of the heads of the school, who officially started the school before the seven heads took it over and made it what we see today and handed it to Commanding General Yohana in the early 2000s. All right. I mean, if I got to prove that Farrakhan is a Muslim, I could do that for you if you want. Farrakhan is, of course, not an Israelite. He doesn't profess being an Israelite. He's a Muslim. But I'll give you the history in a second. But let me finish this out. What was your question about this? You said on the topic.
That was my question mainly. How would I apply Matthew 6 to this? Meaning, like, it's not giving alms in public. It's showing the work that a good man is doing, and he's not doing. Meaning, Commanding General Yohana is not the one saying, "Yeah, I'm giving trucks load of food." No, the men that work under him are saying, "We're out doing the work that this great man is doing."
It's all over the Bible. If you need it, of course, I got 1,000 precepts to prove it. It's why miracles were even done. Right. That's just that. All right, come on. How's the hob? Let's go.
You want me to finish the verse? I can, but it's going on with what you were saying.
Are you done or not?
We're done.
Question online?
Counselor, Chicago has a question, sir.
Who's here tonight? Just Chicago?
Counselor.
Give Chicago a hand. All right. How's the hob? Let him read it, Chicago.
For the children are not related to the parents, but the parents for the children.
Who are the children in this scenario?
Us.
In that scenario, then.
The brother he's talking to, the one he's saying he's not a burden to them.
And who's the parent?
Him.
So he's saying the children are not to lay up for the parents, but the parents lay up for the children. I'm coming to take care of you. I'm not coming down there for you to take care of me. That's the point. Good to go. Next.
Chicago, sir.
Chicago.
Hey, Shalom, little Christ out of one. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine up.
All right, kind of Wakan, sir. I got a question, if I could, in Galatians chapter 6, verse 14, if I get a general breakdown of it.
You got to speak up, Bach. I can't hear you.
Salaya, sir. In Galatians chapter 6, verse 14, if I can get a general breakdown of it.
Go ahead.
Kind of Wakan, sir. This is the book of Galatians chapter 6, verse 14. But the Most High forbid that I should glory save in the cross of our Lord Adawan Yahweh Shai Mashiach, by whom the world is crucified unto me, and I unto the world.
I can't hear you too well. Are you asking me to break this down? Or is there a specific question?
Kind of Wakan, sir, just a general breakdown.
All right, read it one verse above it, then read it on.
Kind of Wakan, sir, verse 13. For neither they themselves who are circumcised keep the law, but desire to have you circumcised.
Meaning what Paul is breaking down at this time in the truth. Paul was going to cities that did not traditionally circumcise their children the way they would in Jerusalem. He's going to Corinth and Rome and Ephesus. In these cities, they were run by heathens, and they didn't have a rule of circumcising their children. They were uncircumcised. So Paul was going to this city and teaching the Israelites by blood in that city that they were the chosen people of God and teaching them about the law. But of course, in the law, you must be circumcised on the 8th day of your birth. So if your parent was not in the truth, you did not get circumcised. And Paul is saying, why are you people in Jerusalem making such a big deal about the fact that the brothers in Corinth are not circumcised when the circumcised don't keep the law? You people who are circumcised on your 8th day of birth, you still eat pork. You still eat shrimp. You still are homosexuals. You still murder and you still lie and steal because your mother and father had you circumcised. It did nothing to make you keep the law as an adult. It's so similar to what the Christians do and the Catholics do with baptizing babies. They go and the Catholics will baptize a little baby, dunk his little baby head in water, and the Catholic still grows up to molest children. He still grows up to be in the mafia. So what in the hell is the point of baptizing that baby when he's still going to break the law? Well, that is what the circumcised were doing in Jerusalem. They were circumcised as the law dictates, and they grew up to be homosexuals, liars, and murderers and thieves. So why would you be angry at a brother who is uncircumcised, but he is keeping the law? His parents did not keep the law. His parents did not circumcise him when he was a baby boy. But this grown man is keeping the law. How is he any less than you? That's the point, Doc. You understand?
Kind of what sir.
Was that it?
Salakia, sir. Verse 14, if I could.
Go ahead.
But Most High forbid that I should glory. Salakia. But Most High forbid that I should glory, save in the cross of our Lord Adawan Yahweh Shai Mashiach, by whom.
Go ahead.
Kind of what concept. By whom the world is crucified unto me.
Now, why is he saying, but God forbid that I should glory? All you have to do is juxtapose that to what he just said. The circumcised are not keeping the law, but God forbid that I should glory in anything except for Christ. Why is he saying that? It's right in front of you. What does God forbid that I should glorify mean? Chicago. Is he there?
Kind of what Salakia, sir. Is it saying that Lord forbid that he should boast in what he's doing? That's not.
Now, what is the thing that he is doing? It's right in front of you.
Salakia, sir, is it the uncircumcision of the law?
Say that one more time.
Is it the uncircumcision of the law?
Okay, what is the thing that he is doing based on what he just said? Read it again.
Kind of what comes. But Most High forbid.
No, read right before that.
Kind of what comes. For neither they themselves who are circumcised keep the law, but desire to have you circumcised.
So they want to force you to be circumcised at 25 years old. They were circumcised when they were babies, and they don't keep the law. But you do keep the law, but they're saying that's not good enough because you got to be circumcised. Keep going.
Kind of what comes. That they may glory in their flesh.
So they can glory in their flesh, meaning so they can say, I'm circumcised. So that makes me better than you brothers who don't eat pork. I eat pork and I'm circumcised. You are not circumcised and you don't eat pork. So that they can say they're better than you because they're circumcised, even though they eat pork and they're homosexual and they worship strange gods. But they're going to make it like their circumcision is the thing that they can glorify themselves with, even though they break every law except for the one their parents kept when they were 8 days old. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 14. But Most High forbid that I should glory.
That's it. Now, what is the thing? He's saying, but God forbid that I should glory. Now, right there, walk down that road. It's right in front of you. Glorying is bragging. That's what glorifying yourself is bragging. So after he said that, he stopped himself. He said, but God forbid that I should glory myself, meaning, but let me stop bragging. God forbid that I should brag. So I'm going to stop bragging. What is the thing that he's stopping himself from bragging about? God forbid that I should glorify myself. Chicago, answer it.
Salakia, sir, that he himself is keeping law.
Give him a hand. It's right in front of you. Yeah, and that cuts a Muslim lie and a Christian lie that Paul didn't keep the law. He's telling these circumcised people, you don't keep the law, and you're telling them they got to be circumcised when you break the law. But God forbid that I should glorify myself. Why? Because I'm circumcised and I keep the law. Paul is circumcised and he keeps the law, but he's not going to brag about it. He ain't going to brag at the fact that he doesn't do the things that you do. You break the law every day and think you're better than the people in Corinth because they're uncircumcised, just like who? Christians. Christians are just like that. They think they're so saved. Have you talked to one recently? Ooh, it's terrible, especially the women. The men are so timid, you know, and kind of scared. And it's scary because Christian men know that they're gay and alcoholics, and so even though they go to church, they're kind of humble because the Christian men know that they're sinners. And so even though they're in church every day, they're effeminate and they dance and they know that they're not manly and they know that they don't do the right thing. But a Christian woman, Jesus Christ, as far as she's the queen of heaven and earth, she's married. She's the mother of God. Meanwhile, she's an alcoholic. She hates her children. She hates her daughter. She pushes all of her children, her male children, into homosexuality because she's such a dominant female figure in their life. These Christian women are so dominant. They're really, their son has to be just like mom. Because if you're not like your mom, then mom hates you. So the boy has to act like his mother, or else his mother will hate the boy. So the boy has to hate his father, hate everything that's masculine that might remind her of his father, and be just like mom. Go to church, and now you dance right next to her in church. You sitting next to this woman dancing in church. You crying over the goddamn music. You act just like her. And guess what? You better. Because if you don't act like your mom, she will treat you like she treated your father. And yet, she has a hat on as big as this table. She thinks she was saved. Yeah, no, that's not what we're going to do here. Everybody understands that. Paul keeps the law. He's circumcised, but he doesn't beat people over it. Do you understand, Chicago?
Sir.
Paul is circumcised. Paul learned at the feet of Gamaliel, who was a doctor in the law. Paul was an expert in the law. He was raised up in the law, a member of the Pharisee. He was circumcised on his 8th day, and he doesn't eat pork. He doesn't worship strange gods. He doesn't break any laws. If he wanted to, he could put everyone down if he wanted to. He could belittle everyone, but instead, God forbid. God forbid. You understand?
Sir. The water.
No sweat. Next. One more. Go ahead. CB, one more time up.
Well, the first question I have saved for you online is from a brother. He would like a breakdown on James chapter 3, verses 2 through 5.
Go ahead. Go ahead and read it.
James chapter 3, verses 2 through 5.
Go ahead.
Bible check, can someone pull it?
Any more questions in the room besides your budget? Anyone else?
James chapter 3.
Solid.
Verses 2 through 5. Also, sir.
Go ahead.
That image,
Mm-hmm.
this one,
Mm-hmm.
right? It means degenerate music.
Well, that's not what it means. Oh, that's what the saying is. They're saying that music, but you got to read why he has a shield on. You get the point.
Yes, it's right.
I mean, that statement is degenerate, meaning jazz music is degenerate music, right? Because that's what he thought of black people. So you don't ever want to say anything. Don't get caught in that trap of praising Adolf Hitler, which so many unlearned idiots get caught in. Okay, Adolf Hitler was a disgusting bastard who hated black people way more than he hated so-called Jewish people. He hated Jewish people because they were acting like they were niggers. They were acting degenerate because he considered everything black degenerate. Degenerate means it's like degraded and lowly. And being a Jew is degenerate because being a Jew is black, which is why that jazz musician has a shield on that flower. When you have it, let me know. Go ahead. Anything else, Asher?
If I may.
Who had the hand? Who said
Sean?
Go ahead.
It seems like he says nigger music. in the beginning, right there.
That's the title of the Wikipedia article.
I probably can find it for you.
Nigga music.
Go ahead, Doc. I think you're right. The one. Okay, go ahead, Asher. Anything else or not?
Last one.
Any questions in the room?
Just the James chapter 3. Sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and read that, Doc.
The book of James, chapter 3, verse 2. For in many things
I had this in a book in DC with the thing under it. If DC was here, I left this book in DC. It's 25 years old. All right, I'll try to find it here online. Go ahead, Doc.
James chapter 3, verse 2. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body.
Read one verse above it.
James 3:1. My brethren, be not many masters.
Be not many masters. What is a master? Who knows? Abadia. Someone who's over an authority figure. As many of you know, I'm an authority figure in here. Everybody understands that. And of course, I answer to my ultimate authority figure, which is Commanding General Yohana. Then you have a camp leader down here, Captain Tazariak, if you're in the New York camp. He's your authority figure, your direct authority figure. What Paul is saying is don't be many masters. And this is why. You shouldn't strive to have authority. You understand? And he's making a point. He's trying to make a point. You should not strive to have authority. And this is why. Go ahead.
Knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
Knowing that masters will receive the greater condemnation. What does the term condemnation mean? What does it mean to be condemned? Up front. Criticize is almost there. It's a little more drastic than criticize. You can just look it up if you want to be exact about it. I'll give you a second. We don't have Alexa in there, right? Go ahead. Go ahead, Doc.
Condemnation, the expression of very strong disapproval.
Very strong disapproval. That's what condemnation is. Very strong. Come on.
Second one, the action of condemning someone to a punishment.
The first one is what you need. Very strong disapproval. If you're in charge, you are going to open yourself up for very strong disapproval. And this is why. Go ahead.
Verse 2. For in many things we offend all.
This is why you're going to be people are going to disapprove of you so much, because in many things you will offend everybody. Right? Being in charge in the UPK, brother, is a profession where you just have to offend people, even when you don't want to. And many times you don't want to offend them. You would like to be at peace with them, but you have to say, you are a goddamn filthy drunk. You're an alcoholic. You have to tell him. You don't want to tell him. How does everyone else treat an alcoholic? Like he's fun. You know, he's so much fun when he, you know how so-and-so get when he drinks. Oh, man, oh, boy. I would like to do that too. But my position means I have to say, you're covered in urine. You're a disgusting drunk. You feel, I'm going to vomit from the smell of you. He, of course, will not like that. He doesn't want to be told that. No one wants to be called. I counsel so many alcoholics out. And the one thing they do not want to say is the word alcoholic. They hate that. Are you an alcoholic? No. What do? I drink. Maybe I have a little too much to drink sometime. You're a disgusting drunk. No one wants to hear it. You have to tell people things that they don't want to hear. And so Paul is trying to tell the brothers in the school that you shouldn't strive to be in charge, because being in charge means offending people. That's the job. You get the point. You got to go to this brother and tell him, all your personal problems, you got to go talk to someone about. You don't want to talk to them about that because you don't want to make an enemy of this brother. And you know that if you tell him, he's going to hate you. The Bible says, chastise a wise man and he will love you. Chastise a fool and he will hate you. You go tell some brother something, and he's an idiot. Before you know it, he's arguing with you back and forth. And listen, don't listen to me then. No problem. You go ahead and do what you want to do. Let the Most High teach you a lesson then. Go ahead and do it. That's the point. The point of this is if you want to be in charge, you're going to offend people by being in charge. Okay, so you should not strive for this, because in all things we've received a greater condemnation. There's one thing to be hated by people out in the street because we go out and teach them about their religion, teach them about their false gods. But if you're an officer in here, you'll have to be offended by brothers in the school, because you'll have to tell them to keep the code of conduct that we keep in this school, to maintain our integrity. And of course, they want to have sex with whatever they meet on Instagram and on Facebook and on blah, blah, blah. And you have to chastise them about their choices in life, those choices that affect the school. Those purple homosexuals had some man who was a transsexual. No, he had sex with a transsexual and then shot the transsexual, shot him in the face, right? In the face. Now, once again, why does that happen? Because they don't have a code. They can't go to a brother and police his Facebook account, which brothers will do in here. A lot of you women can't stand the fact that there's somebody going through your Facebook page. Oh, brothers, there you're on their Facebook page, looking at all your past pictures, all your hoeing days, back when you was hoeing. And they're going to see it. And of course, if we see it, our enemies will see it. And then they'll take your picture and go, look at her. She's in the UPK. Look at this picture of her in Atlanta back at the All-Star Games 1997, hoeing. And you got to take that off of Facebook, off of Instagram. You have to do it, because otherwise our enemies will use it against us. Someone has to be in charge and make the phone call that says, hey, you got a picture of yourself from the All-Star game. You had your legs open with LeBron James down there. You need to take that off of social media. Am I making this up? I'm not. Everyone understands. All right, next. You get the point. All right. Anything else? Go ahead.
If I may, sir, can you break down the rest of that verse?
Mm-hmm.
If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man.
Then here we go. This is why you don't want this job, because if any man offends not in word, the same is a perfect man. The Bible says that the tongue is hard to tame. The tongue is hard to control. That's in the book of James. Where are we at right now?
James 3, sir.
Right, it's right here then. That when you can control your tongue, you can control your whole body. So imagine a man who never says anything that offends anyone. That brother has self-control. He's in control of himself. Now imagine a job where your job is to make phone calls and tell people things they don't want to hear. You get my point? And to criticize people who do not want criticism at all, who don't want to hear about anything that they're doing that's wrong. Then that's a difficult job to have. It's difficult. But without someone doing that job, we would be like the Christian church. Everyone understands. Anything else?
That's it, sir.
Solid. About you?
If I may, so why is it that people, like, during that time they had a problem with why do people have a problem with uncircumcision when there's Leviticus 26 and 40? Meaning, this is Leviticus 26 and 40.
Mm-hmm.
If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass, which they trespass against me, and that also they have worked contrary unto me, meaning we broke the law, we broke the covenant, 41, and that I also have worked contrary unto them, and I brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accepted the punishment of their iniquity, and basically 42, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. So why did Paul have to have a whole conversation? Don't worry about people trying to kill you, when by this very law, no one has the right to kill you.
It's true. Give me Leviticus 7 and 9. And then give me Revelations 1 and 13.
Leviticus 7 and 9?
Mm-hmm.
This is Leviticus 7 and 9. And all the meat offering that is baking in the oven, and all
you skip down to the shellfish.
Shellfish?
Leviticus 7 11. Try that. Yeah, we got
Khan.
you.
Salakia.
11 and 7, or was it 7? Was it
11 and
7. Salakia. Try 11 and 9.
Khan. Leviticus 11 and 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales.
These shall you eat of all that are in the water, whatsoever has fins and scales.
Right.
So if something has fins and scales, you should eat it. Go ahead.
In the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. 10. And all that have not fins and scales.
And anything that does not have fins and scales, go ahead.
In the seas and in the rivers.
In the seas or the rivers.
Of all that move in the waters.
Of anything that moves in the water.
And of any living thing which is in the water.
And any living thing that's in the water.
They shall be an abomination unto you.
They shall be an abomination unto you. Why is anybody eating shrimp and crab when that's sitting right there in the Bible? I mean, every government official is sworn in on the Bible. There's a place in America called the Bible Belt. It's in the Midwest. The Bible used to be in every hotel room. Everybody knows that scripture. Go to the pig one. Go to above it. Go ahead.
7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
Why is anybody eating pork when it says right there that swine is unclean to you? Go to Revelations 1 and 13.
Revelations chapter 1 verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot.
This is the description of Jesus Christ, a long garment on down to the foot, down to his feet. Go ahead.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
Golden belt around his midsection, which is where your paps are. Go ahead.
And Salakia 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
His head and his hairs were white like wool. White is a color, wool is a texture. White, woolly hair. Go ahead.
As white as snow.
White as snow. Go ahead.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Eyes as a flame of fire. Go ahead.
15. And his feet.
And his what?
Feet.
And his what?
Feet.
And his feet.
Like unto fine brass.
Brass is brown, and I think everybody knows that. Right. Brass is brown. Why does anybody say that Jesus is white when the Bible clearly says he's a black man? Can I get words to you? It's Daniel 7 and 9, Daniel's 10, 5 and 6. Give me Song of Solomon 1 and 5. Go ahead.
Song of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black.
Now, see, that's pretty clear. Right? I mean, that's a pretty. I heard some preacher today say, God, there was a radio host. He said, God does not care about, there's no color in the Bible. That's a direct quote. Brother, when I was coming up, your age in the truth, that was every week.
Right.
Color is not in the Bible. There are no scriptures about color in the Bible. Color is not in the Bible. And we would do this. Read.
Song of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black.
There it is. So why does anyone say that the Jews are white? Why does anyone say that Jesus is white when it's right there? What's the reason about you?
Nobody reads the Bible.
Give yourself a hand. I mean, yeah, you reading it. They didn't read that 2,000 years ago. They didn't give a damn about that. Time today is just like it always was. You understand? It's no different. People didn't care about reading the Bible or if they could even read. At that time, who in the hell could read, period? No one cared. The priest could read. And guess what the priest would say? Color is not in the Bible. Do you understand? The priests were the only ones that could read. Some old farmer, he can't read. Some old sheep farmer in Galilee, he can't read at all. He trusts the priest. The priest is the one that reads. And the priest says, color is not in the Bible. Right. So then that's that. Does that make it more clear to you? It's just like today. Come on.
Lakia, sir, it's so deep you say that we don't read, and King James was commissioned to make the King James Bible so we can read.
That was the point. The point was to translate the Bible out of Latin, which no one read but Catholic priests, into the common tongue, meaning the tongue of the common people, so that they could read it. That did nothing. It did absolutely nothing, because then the preacher still gets up in church and lies, because even if they can read it, they're not going to. Guess what? Kyrie Irving got fired for watching a movie. Do you understand? For looking at a movie. Can you not? That's where you live. And this is the way this world has always been. You're not allowed to learn it. It's right there, but you're not allowed to learn it. Right. You were killed in slavery for reading. Kyrie Irving is going to lose his job for recommending a movie. Done. Come on.
I'll just go on this is John 7:15. Mm-hmm. And the Jews, this is about Christ. And the Jews marveled, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned?
Yeah. Reading is a pretty recent achievement for a lot of people. Like, reading was not something you did, I think, in the 1930s in Kentucky and down south. Nobody read. Go ahead.
My grandfather had a second grade education from 28.
You know how common that is, brother?
Yeah.
Mine too. Oh, I never knew my grandfather, but my grandmother had a 6th grade education, 4th grade education, tons of them like that. That was pretty normal. You know, you believe what preachers said, and preachers said color wasn't in the Bible, and preachers served pork in the church. Right. So that means it's fine. You understand? All right, next.
Sir, General Katham has a question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
General Katham said he would like a breakdown on Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 25 through 27.
Go ahead.
And his question is, who is he that come?
Go ahead and read.
Baba Shah, someone can pull it, Baba Shah. Ezekiel chapter 21, verses 25 to 27.
Ezekiel, the 21st chapter and the 25th verse. And thou, profane, wicked prince of Israel, whose day is come, when iniquity shall have an end. Thus saith the Lord God, remove the diadem and take off the crown. This shall not be the same. Exalt him that is low, and abase him that is high.
I'll try to break it down. Read it one verse above this.
Verse 24. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because ye have made your iniquity to be remembered, in that your transgressions are discovered.
Does everyone understand that? Who? For time, you got it? Want to break it down? Please, say again? Please. Mm-hmm. Please, break it down. You got the mic? I thought you wanted to break it down. Oh, you want me to break it down? Okay. You want me to teach the class? No sweat. I'll do it. I'll go ahead and do it for you. No sweat. Salakia. No, I'll do it for you. It ain't no big deal. The water. No sweat. Go ahead and read it one more time.
Ezekiel, the 21st chapter, verse 24. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because ye have made your iniquity to be remembered.
Because you have made your iniquity to be remembered. What does that mean? Meaning you've done iniquity and you continue to do it. And so imagine a father who saw you do something wrong and he tried to close his eyes to it. He tried to give you mercy and forgiveness, but then you did it again. So now you are making him remember your iniquity. So now he has to punish you, or else he's not a good father. Everyone understands. Keep going.
In that your transgressions are discovered.
In that your transgressions are discovered. You're doing this evil thing again. You're smoking cigarettes again. So many people who had your whole life was destroyed because your father was a drug addict. Your mother was a drug addict. And yet, come the time for your adulthood, you become a drug addict. All of the pain of childhood, your horrible memories that you have as a child, none of those terrible memories make you not give your child those same memories. So now you do it again. So now the Most High sees that you refuse to ever learn, you refuse to change, and now you're going to be punished. Now you're going to see the other side of the Most High. Keep going.
So that in all your doings, your sins do appear.
So that in all your doings, your sins do appear. In everything you do, here is your sin. You can't do a thing without sinning. You can't eat without sinning. You can't have sex without sinning. You can't socialize without sinning. There is nothing that you can do lawfully. Nothing. You can't just go to a goddamn party, huh? The whole party has to become a drunken, get high orgy. It has to become that, because God forbid you should just go somewhere and listen to goddamn music. No, you have to get high when you listen to the music. You got to have sex on the dance floor. You can't do anything at all. A lot of these women, you have a slut of a wife, some of you, right? In the world, of course. And your wife can't be trusted to go out with her girlfriends. That's a rough deal. That's hardcore. Imagine a brotherhood. You're trying to make sure your wife is not go around women, not go around men. Stay away from the men because you know she's a hoe. Lo and behold, she holds it up with the girls too. And what do? Don't go around anybody. I guess stay alone, because if you're around human flesh, you're going to have sex with it. Anything that you're around that breathes, you'll have sex with the thing. I had to run my dog out the goddamn house. Anything you're around, you'll give some to it. You can't just have a girlfriend. Damn, you can't just go out with the girls to the damn karaoke or the painting, or the women painting and paint the pictures and drink. You can't just go have fun. No, not her. She cannot. She cannot go out with the girlfriends and have martinis. It's impossible. She leaves out of the house, she's hoeing. That's in everything she does it as a sin. Men, everything you do it as a sin. You can't help yourself. So now you're going to see the other side. Keep going.
Because I say that you are come to remembrance, you shall be taken with the hand.
You shall be what?
Taken with the hand.
You should take it with the what? Say that word. I can't understand. Hand, right? You shall be taken with the hand. Go ahead. Meaning someone grabs you, like a cop arrests you, like a cop takes you with his hands. He puts his hands on you. He lays hands on you. You shall be taken with the hand. Go ahead.
And thou, profane, wicked prince of Israel.
And you profane, wicked prince of Israel. This is speaking about the royal family of Israel at that time. What book is this?
Ezekiel.
This is, I believe, is speaking about Judah. But you can double check it. But I believe this is speaking about the family of Judah who lost their lordship over the nation of Israel. Keep going.
Whose day is come.
Meaning David's family is what I'm speaking about. Go ahead.
When iniquity shall have an end.
Whose day has come. Your day has come when iniquity shall have an end. Now your evil is going to finally end. It's going to end now. Keep going.
Thus saith the Lord God, remove the diadem and take off the crown.
A diadem is a headpiece. A diadem is like a glorious headpiece. Right? That's why it also says take off the crown. What I'm wearing would be a diadem. A mitre would be a diadem. A war scarf is a diadem, meaning something that you wear to show rank and authority. You're going to remove that and take off that crown. They're the same thing. Keep going. A crown in specific would be like this, like a Levi has on right here. That would be a crown because the whole top is open for the little spikes to come up. A diadem, once again, mitre, war scarf, all of those are glorious headpieces. Take it off. Take it off. Come on. Microphone for the brother.
Diadem, a jewel crown or headband worn as a symbol of sovereignty.
Everybody understands, right? Well, in this day, you got to take it off. He's ripping that off your stupid head. You're taking off your headpiece. Go ahead.
Select. This shall not be the same.
You're not going to be in charge anymore. This won't be the same. In times past, you kept your rank, although you were wicked. Although you were a sinner, you were able to be kings over Israel. No more. This won't be the same. Go ahead.
That scripture about the diadem and the crown, that goes to cut them Christians and fake Israelites. Let's talk about we're wrong for wearing headpieces.
Yeah, that's one of the many scriptures. Yes, it's a lot of them, but this is one of them. Go ahead.
This shall not be the same. Exalt him that is low and abase him that is high.
So now what happens? The man who was high, he gets put down. And now the Most High goes and finds someone that's low and puts him in charge. Right. That's what happens. All right. You understand? I forget who asked the question, but that's the answer.
General Katham.
Thawada, General Katham.
He wants to know who is he that comes?
I'm sorry. Read on then.
Verse 27. I will overturn it, and it shall be no more until he come whose right it is, and I will give it him.
Well, who rebuilt that house? Who brought lordship back to the tribe of Judah? who brought authority back to the house of David, who lost their crown because of their wickedness. He that shall come is talking about Yahushua, our king.
Right.
And he's the one that brought honor back to the house of David.
Right.
Because before that, they weren't worthy to be kings. And that's why his father was a carpenter. You understand? His father, who should have been king over Israel by bloodline, his father was making chest of drawers and making bed frames, chairs in Nazareth, in a ghetto. Why? Because the headpiece was ripped off of his great-great-grandfather's head, and he was thrown into the ghetto to make furniture.
Right.
But he that shall come now wears every crown, and every knee must bend, and every tongue must confess.
That's right.
You understand? Christ is the he that shall come.
That's right.
All right? Go ahead.
If I may, sir.
If I may, so on the subject of crown, aside from, let's say, slavery or doing any work that will be considered servile, sir. Can we wear our crown wherever we go?
There's no law against wearing your crown wherever you go. That's not a law. You don't have to, but you can. You get my point. You don't have to wear a headpiece anywhere except for when you are doing the work of a priest. Just consider it an official badge of title. Like if you're at camp, you wear a headpiece. If you're teaching a class, you wear a headpiece.
Right.
It makes you in uniform. You understand? But you're free to wear your uniform anywhere you want, but you don't have to.
Cut out on cut.
Good to go.
Cut. Yes, I have a question in Revelation 12:9, sir.
Go ahead.
Revelation 12:9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Go ahead.
In that scripture, his angels are the preachers,
his messengers.
Right.
There are people that carry the word angel. There means messenger.
Yes. Come.
And there are people that carry the message of Satan, what he believes, what he thinks. Your black preachers, which is why every black preacher is coming against Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, because they are the messengers of Satan. They have message discipline in the Christian church. They pick a thing and they're allowed to say that, and they say that and nothing else. And since the time of, my God, how long has the so-called Jewish man been in an ally with black Christian preachers? We're talking 1800s probably. We're talking before the NAACP, which is what that is, a creation of so-called Jewish people and black people, a coalition of them who came together to fight for the right to abortion, to have abortions, and for the right to vote. And they coupled the two together. Man, that might be the 1800s or something like that, 1930s or 20s or something like that. They've been allies a long time. And so that's why they're the message that black Christians push, black preachers push, is a message they have by permission of Satan. And that's what you hear come out there, Mike. Kyrie Irving is so wrong. Go out in the street this week. You should do a what do we call it when we go out in the street and ask people questions?
A survey?
No, it's like we used to call it something back in the day. I forget the name of it. We used to call it.
Say it again, sir.
When you go ask a civilian a question in the world with a microphone and a camera. What is it? What do we call it? I forget. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, street interviews, I think, but I'm not sure if we call them that in the school. And just ask them, was what Kyrie Irving said anti-Semitic? And they'll say yes. And then say, what was anti-Semitic about what Kyrie Irving said? Or ask them, is the book Hebrews to Negroes anti-Semitic? Yes. What was anti-Semitic about it? And I would just love to see their faces when they scramble in their brains to try to think of what is anti-Semitic. They never read the book. They don't know what in the hell is in the book. That book is wrong. That book is terrible. All right, well, just give me the chapter that had the terrible things in it so I can go make sure. What was anti-Semitic about that book? No one is going to have an answer. No one read the book. No one has the book. They were just told it was anti-Semitic. Right. And that's enough. You understand? That's all. That's a good question to ask Edomites, black people, whoever. They're told that book was wrong, so it's wrong. And that's all. And no one will be able to say what was so anti-Semitic about this book. Just tell me what's in it. What did he say that was hateful to Jewish people? Let's see what the answer is. All right.
God.
And just when they scramble, don't give them a break. Just hold the microphone there and just be patient. Just stand there like this. What was anti-Semitic about the book? Let it get real uncomfortable. just like that. They won't have an answer at all. Everybody understands. Come on.
And if I may, sir, can we also use the rappers and athletes as the angels? For example, we have LeBron James, who came against Kyrie Irving. We have Shaquille O'Neal, who called him an idiot simply because he posted that book. Can we use them to say
rappers and athletes who say I'm assuming you mean like what you need? You got it right, sisters. Too, y'all good to go.
And to add to it, sir. Also, they use the propaganda of the oppressor in the music, like when they promoting sin, promoting adultery.
Okay. Rappers and entertainers are not the messengers of Satan. Rappers and entertainers are fooled by the messengers of Satan. Okay, who's really in charge of black society are religious leaders. Rappers and athletes are just simply saying what the church says. That's where they get it from. This is how powerful the Christian church is. You're going to see LeBron James say the exact same thing that white society wants him to say. And then your daughter is going to say it too. Your daughter. You get my point? Your daughter is going to say, "Where's Chris? I want to celebrate Christmas. I want to celebrate Halloween." You're teaching her the truth. But your daughter is being taught what Satan says in school and on TV, and it's coming out the walls. Right. So your own child is going to agree with LeBron James. LeBron James is just another child. Right. Do you understand? He's just another idiot who just hears this come out of the church, and he has to go with it because he knows if he doesn't go with it, he gets in trouble like a child. You understand? He gets in trouble. So he just does it. Preachers are the ones who know it's wrong. Preachers do read. Preachers know about Leviticus 7. Preachers know Jesus is black. You understand? They know it. Preachers, think about the Democratic Party here in New York. They know abortion is wrong. They know it's wrong. They know it's against God, because just I think 20 years ago, they were saying abortion was wrong, which is why Hispanics vote Republican, because Hispanics are Roman Catholic and they haven't been here long enough to give up their religious belief for political gain. And so they vote Republican because they're against abortion. Black people also are against abortion, but in politics, they're for abortion because preachers have told them you have to vote Democratic. You have to be for abortion. And then so is LeBron James. And so are your rappers. And so is everyone else. But they didn't come up with that. They don't know any better. Preachers do know better. LeBron James knows basketball. He doesn't know right from wrong. But preachers know right from wrong, and they choose to be wrong because there's more gain in being wrong. They're the messengers of Satan, not some idiot basketball player. What the hell does he know? You think he went to school in college? You think he went to class in high school? He can barely talk. A rapper has a 6th grade education. You think rappers, why do you think they sign those contracts where some white man owns your name and your life for the rest of eternity? Let me give you the legal word, perpetuity. That's the word they use in there. That's a legal term that means forever. And they own everything you ever record forever and your own name in perpetuity. That little brother DMX don't know what the hell perpetuity means. How is he the messenger? He don't know any damn thing. But the preacher does. And the preacher makes a decision to lie on purpose. The rapper doesn't even know he's lying. The rapper is just trying not to get in trouble. That's it. All right. Next, the water. Go ahead.
Sir, I have a question from a random person. Michael Coretti. I think it's a Edomite.
All right.
He said, I've seen
Give me one more
video-
time.
He said, I've seen videos posted from or related to your group talking about the white man being the devil.
Okay.
Can you address that more? Because it sounds like you're calling all white people the devil.
I totally understand. I can get that. I can I can get why, you know, Michael Coretti and other white people could sit at home and believe that we're talking personally about Michael Coretti. But of course, we don't know who Michael Coretti is. And here's why what we teach is so confusing to so many white people. The Israelite School of UPK under commanding General Yohana, we don't have any personal relationships or personal animosities with any white people at all. Right. You understand? Right. White people aren't doing anything to us personally. Right. We see them every day when we're in banks and landlords and supervisors and slaveries. Right. We interact with white people every day. Raise your hand if you interact with white people regularly. That's you can't help but to do it, right? And you talk to them and you say, "Hey, Jim, how you doing today, Jim?" Oh, Jim has a whole story about his nice weekend. And hey, Karen, what'd you do today? Karen, forget about it. You're gonna be there all day because she's gonna talk to you at that coffee machine all day, all night, all the time. And you sit there stirring your coffee, smiling. I understand. Okay, let me get back to work. We interact with white people all the time, personally, all the time. All right. And we have completely professional interactions with white people all the time. Everybody understands that. Right. What we're talking about is not personal to Michael Coretti or Jim down the street or this Karen over here. What we're talking about is white society. We're talking about the power structure that has oppressed blacks and Hispanics for 400 years. Right. We're talking about oppression, oppression, social justice, which is what we're fighting for in the UPK. And we've been fighting for it from a time when you never thought of it. Kanye West had a song where he said, "I'm not here to argue about his facial features," speaking about Jesus walks. Jesus walks, and Kanye West said, this is back in the early 2000s, he made a song about Jesus, and he said, "We're not here to argue about his facial features." The Israelite School of UPK, we're the ones who have been arguing about his facial features since 1969. That's what we're the people that do that. Why do we do it? Because the white man, the white society, the white power structure has been lying to us about the image, the nationality, the ethnicity of the greatest man to ever live. And they've been telling us that he's the same race as our banker, our supervisor, our landlord. Meanwhile, he's our race. He's the same race as us. And we're fighting against that lie, which is what the word devil means, or a deceiver. It means liar. The word devil means liar. The white man is speaking about the white power structure, white society. It's not talking about this one single white man in Long Island. It's not about him. He might be a totally pleasant, nice white man. There are a lot of nice white people out there. They kiss our boots every week at camp. We meet nice white people every Saturday. Every Saturday. I'm sure you brothers will meet a few nice white people this Saturday. That's right. Right? In Brooklyn, you're going to meet a few nice white people out there, right? There are plenty of good white people we meet all the time. They kiss our boots at camp. There are good white people, good, fine, upstanding white men and women out there. We meet them every camp, all the time. This Mr. Coretti, he might be a wonderful white man. I hope he is. I hope we see him this week out there in Brooklyn. We'll notice the top of his head at camp. And I'm sure he'll be out there making a large donation and kissing the boots of the true prophets of God, of the real Jews, at camp. No, it's not personal. We're not talking about every single white person. We're talking about the white power structure that lied about the image of Jesus Christ. They lied about the nationality of the blacks and Hispanics here in America and abroad. They lied about your inheritance that they took for themselves and gave you nothing. We're talking about social justice. That's what we're speaking about. Everybody understands. Come on.
like, sir, it's 8:47.
The water. All right, come on, Hazahar.
I have that precept that Commander Gianna brought on Black Watch about a month ago about the Christian pastors who could have did right by the Bible and chose not to.
Go ahead.
Because this is Psalms 81:10.
Mm-hmm.
I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. Verse 11. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. Verse 12. So I gave them up unto their own hearts' lust, and they walked in their own counsels. 13.
That's it. Go ahead.
I mean,
give me the point. Go ahead.
Khan. 13. Oh, my people. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. Mm-hmm. I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries.
What was the point you were making again?
The point was when Commander Johanna brought on the Black Watch, being that the Christian church had the Bible, mm-hmm. and they could have did the right thing like how we do the right thing.
Forget about it.
And they could have brought the kingdom way before.
Forget about it. But they didn't because of their lust for money. That's correct. Give them a hand. All right. Let's get into the Kyrie Irving. Come on, what do you got? Come on.
The oppressor. We have like in Hollywood, they talk about a lot about the Baphomet, which is supposed to be a goat that white people worship. When I go and live,
let me put a question online so that I can get the answers while you're speaking. Ask Mr. Michael Coretti and the other white people listening in the chat room, what was anti-Semitic about the movie that Kyrie Irving posted? That's it. Now, while you're speaking, they'll put the answers up. Go ahead.
Come on, sir. In Hebrews, so like in Leviticus 17:7, where it talks about the devil, it says, and they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils. Mm-hmm. That word there in the Hebrew is sha'ira, right, mm-hmm. Officer? Sha'ira, mm-hmm. And it means he goat. Mm-hmm. By analogy, a found devil, goat, hairy, kid, rough. I wanted to know, so is there any connection with that and Esau?
Where are we reading from again?
Leviticus 17.
Abadja, come on.
And 7 also. Go ahead, Abadja.
Come on.
Mm-hmm. I could say that, Abadja. Abadja had told me that word was first applied to Esau in, what was that?
Yeah. If I may, that's the word used when it says Esau was hairy when Jacob tricked Isaac.
That's exactly. Which is why Christ said the sheep on one side and the goats on the other.
Come on.
All right. A goat, because of Esau, was kind of known to be evil. You understand? Not an actual goat, but a man who was like a goat. Because Esau came out hairy.
Right.
And so he was like a goat. He was hairy like a goat. And so that term, you ever see how even when people draw the devil, he has hoofs and horns. Right. And goat's horn. You've seen the depiction that artists would make of the devil. And he always has hairy legs, and he has 2 cloven feet, and he has goat horns on his head. The little spikes on the damn head. Right. That's because Esau was hairy. Esau was hairy, and so over time, being a goat, being a rough goat. That's in the Bible as well. The Greeks were rough goats. That's in the book of Daniel. That they were rough goats. So that's why that depiction is there. It's Black and Hispanic slang. You understand? He was hairy. He was hard. He loved to hunt all the time, always living outside. He was like a goat, living out in the damn woods, hunting, rough as hell, meaning didn't come inside, could hunt all damn day and night, came in the house hungry as hell because he was hunting forever. He's a rough goat, hard. You understand? That's why later on demons began to be looked at like they were goats, half man, half goats in Catholic art. I can find a million pictures if you want to put them up on the damn screen.
So that would be the connection with the Baphomet, so-called
Baphomet. Boom. That's what Baphomet is. That rough goat man, which is speaking about Esau, because the so-called white man, when he was first born, in his lineage in the world after Cain and after the serpent, he came out hairy and he was rough, meaning lived outside, loved being outside, and was a cunning hunter. He was like, one of those old Navy SEALs, hunting and shooting and, living outside in the woods in a damn cabin. Say again? Survivalist. Exactly. One of those old preppers and survivalists. That's rough. You understand? A rough goat because he was hairy. Come on.
Throw out his sword.
The goat too. Like the sheep stays in the field and grass. The goats, they like to walk up and down the side of the mountains.
That's my point. He's a mountain goat. He's always out there climbing up the damn mountains, rough as hell, hard as hell. Walks to a place that no one else can walk to. That's the so-called white man. He's a hunter and rough, lives outside, and that's him. And he began to be called a goat because he's hairy and rough. You get the point. That's Baphomet. That's the classic image of Satan. A half goat, half man. Come on.
Just because I remember you explained Baphomet originally was Muhammad. So basically, the standard image of Satan, they took that standard image what they got from us and just said Islam is evil, so we'll apply it to their
done. That was their way of just shaming it. And Muhammad, he's a rough goat. He's like the evil man in the Bible. He's Baphomet, or Baphomet is the image of Allah or Muhammad that the Catholic Church put out when they were fighting the Muslims. But it's a goat man, which is really Muhammad, which is Baphomet is Muhammad. But it's the same goat man because they got it from the Bible. Everybody gets it, all right? We good here? Asher?
It's 8:55.
The water real fast. All right, let's get into Kyrie Irving. Give him a hand. So now, as everyone knows, Kyrie Irving recommended a book. That's what he did. This started from a post that he said that he just shared a link to get a book that damn near no one ever heard of at all. And it was a book. All anyone ever sees or knew is that the book was titled From Hebrews to Negroes. Once that title hit the internet, Kyrie Irving was vilified and he lost his job. He got suspended. Then he apologized, I guess, for sharing the damn book. And why did he have to apologize? Here's a direct quote. Because it hurt the feelings of so many people. People's feelings were hurt from him sharing a book. Meaning just saying, this is a book I read, you might want to read it. But it hurt people's feelings. So he apologized for sharing that book. After he apologized, then his team, the Brooklyn Nets, right here in New York, said that he cannot come back to work until he completes these 6 tasks. Let's read about the tasks that he has to complete. Someone look it up.
Sir, I actually had it from last.
No problem. Whenever you have it, you read it for everyone, all right?
Yes, sir.
If anyone has it on their phone, you can just read it as well for time's sake, all right?
Right here, sir.
Go ahead.
This is from Highly Clutch. It says Nets owner Joe Tsai is not letting Kyrie Irving return to team until he satisfies 6 conditions.
6 conditions. So remember, he's already apologized for recommending a movie, for saying that you should watch this movie. He's already apologized for it. He has to do 6 more things. Go ahead.
Sir. So the first thing that he has to do, sir, is apologize/condemn the movie.
Apologize/condemn the movie. God damn. He has to say, this movie is terrible. This is a horrible movie. This is a disgusting and vile movie. Did anyone answer my question on what's so evil about the movie? Anyone?
I don't see it.
Can anyone white just tell anyone that's listening that's white? Can you just tell me what is evil about Hebrews to Negroes? What's anti-Semitic about it?
So a brother said, I guess the movie was saying that Esau isn't the real Jew.
Boy, I don't know how that could be anti-Semitic. You know what anti-Semitic would mean? Being the popular notion is you're saying something evil about white Jewish people. So what is the evil thing that is being said about white Jewish people? Is he saying that they're thieves, that they're slumlords, that they steal money, that they give me something else, that they fund wars. And what is he saying about? What is he saying derogatory about Jewish people? Anything at all? I'll give you 5 seconds. So the only thing that we know that he's saying is that Black people, Hispanics, are Jews. That's evil to say about Jewish people. That in some way insults Jewish people. So are Black people so filthy that if you say they're Jews, it insults Jewish people? Is it an insult? So if Jewish people, are Jewish people insulted by Black people being Jews? Because if so, that is very anti-Semitic.
Right.
That's extremely anti-Semitic. How does it insult Jewish people for me to be a Jew? How is that an insult to him? Unless he thinks I am so disgusting that he can't even share the title with me because I'm that vile. I'm that disgusting. Come on, Asher.
I have an article that shows Jewish people being anti-Semitic towards Black
Go
Jews.
ahead. Play that, please.
Concert. So this article, Officer Karab actually brought it out in class last Sunday for Long Island class. It's from The Forward, which was a Jewish created newspaper back in the 1800s for the Jewish voice. And the title says, Black Jews are being chased out of the Jewish community by racism, and here is their stories.
Mm-hmm.
So here, the first story is from a Black woman named Monique, 33, who's from Borough Park, Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, one of the things Monique finds most unnerving is the staring. She lives in the same ultra-Orthodox community where she lived during her conversion, and staring has been constant from the beginning.
Let me tell you, where Kyrie Irving, the team that he plays for, the Brooklyn Nets, there is a sect of Jewish people in Brooklyn that are the most hateful, unforgiving people that you could possibly imagine.
Right.
And they're called the Orthodox Hasidic Jewish people. And they have committed such acts of anti-Semitism against Black people that are historic. The New York Times knows about it. Everyone in the city knows about it. But the problem is the people that they are anti-Semitic towards don't have any friends in the White House or friends in the mayor's office. Your only ally is God. And because of that, they're able to treat you like garbage, and no one loses their job over it. And I'll give you about 5 times that everyone knows about it. Everyone sees it. It's public and no one cares. So now, wait, I'm rushing ahead too much, Asher. Give me the 5 things that he read, and then we're going to play this.
Yes, sir.
The 5 things he has to do. Go ahead.
Sir.
First, he has to condemn the movie, right? He has to condemn the movie. Why does he have to condemn the movie? Because the movie is so hateful and evil towards Jewish people, correct? Let me show you another movie, if you don't mind. Give me Godfather Part 1.
You got it, sir.
Let me see The Godfather. This movie is considered the greatest movie in history. This movie is on tonight. When you get back to your house, this movie will be on. This movie is on every day. Raise your hand if you've seen The Godfather more than 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. What's that man, the white man what's his name again?
Say again?
The white man in the chat room.
Michael Coretti.
Michael Coretti, how many times have you seen The Godfather Part 1? How many times has someone recommended that you should see Godfather Part 1? Godfather Part 1 is hailed as one of the greatest movies in history.
Cult classic.
I don't know if it's a cult classic. I think it's just straight up a classic. Considered one of the, if not the greatest movie in history. Play.
You got it, sir.
I also don't believe in drugs.
Nice and loud.
For years, I paid my people extra so they wouldn't do that kind of business. Somebody comes to them and says, I have powders. If you put up $3,000-$4,000 investment, we can make $50,000 distributing. So they can't resist. I want to control it as a business, to keep it respectable. I don't want it near schools. I don't want it sold to children. That's an infamia. My city, we would keep the traffic in the dark, people, the colored. They're animals anyway, so let them move their souls.
Play that last part again.
In the dark, people, the colored. City, we would keep the traffic in the dark, people, the colored. They're animals anyway, so let them move their souls.
And let me ask you brothers in here, you're Jews. You're from the tribe of Judah. You're the 12 tribes of Israel. Have you ever seen that part before when you watch Godfather? Raise your hand if you've seen it. Did you ever think to punish the people who made the movie? Did you ever think to punish the movie companies that produced it? Did you ever think to punish the theaters that showed it? Did you ever think to punish the TV stations that play it every day? Have you even ever thought that you could do anything, even though this movie insults and hurts you? That hurt me out. I've been hurt by this movie 1,000 times. Does anyone care? Does anyone give a damn? Is everyone who made The Godfather losing their movie? Who made this movie again? Martin Scorsese?
Right.
Is Martin Scorsese being canceled for making this movie? He wrote that and put that in the movie. For what? For what? Why would he put that in the movie? What point did that have to do with the mafia and the movie? What cinematic purpose did it serve to say, I would only sell drugs amongst the dark people? They're animals anyway. Let them lose their souls. Was that important to the plot? Was that necessary? Who cancels him? No one. Everyone that made or had anything to do with promoting The Godfather Part 1 should lose their job. Right. It hurts us feel. This movie is anti-Semitic. That's right. Give me another for water. Give me another one. Who's ever heard of the movie Goodfellas? Raise your hand if you've seen Goodfellas. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 157 times.
Goodfellas.
This is the movie Goodfellas. Let me tell you, black people, you being disrespected is so normal, I don't think you notice it. I don't think you even realize it. And I need to ask this to the black people. As you're watching Godfather 1, you've seen, raise your hand if you've seen that part before. You noticed it, right? What did you think? What was in your mind? Please. In the world. Nothing. You don't even associate it with yourself. You know what you do? And this is Stockholm syndrome. You associated yourself with the Italians.
Right.
Like you look at the movie and they're saying, keep the drugs amongst the darkies. They're animals anyway. Let them lose their soul. You think you're Michael Corleone. Right. You're the darkie. Right. And you don't even think about it like that, which is powerful magic. That's powerful magic then. So they'll directly say, you're a stupid nigger, you'll lose your soul. And you'll watch it and you'll go, I'm the Godfather. I'm Michael Corleone. That is powerful juju. What they call it? What's that word? Juju? That's the real voodoo. Right? That's the real voodoo. That is powerful magic. You'll watch that and you'll pattern yourself after the Italian Godfather and think you're a gangster. That is powerful magic. Right. This movie is anti-Semitic, and I want it gone. I want it canceled. I want Michael Scorsese. He should be canceled. He should lose his job because this is hurtful and anti-Semitic. And I can prove the part that's in it that's hateful and racist and anti-Semitic. Not the title, the part in it. Now, let me give you another one. Goodfellas. Oh, the Goodfellas. That's one of the greatest movies of all time. Who made this movie, Goodfellas? I think I'm seeing something about this Scorsese here. I think I'm really noticing something about this Michael Scorsese. Keep going. This is Goodfellas.
God forbid, what would happen if you had to go to prison?
Karen.
Mickey said that Jeannie's husband...
Do you know why Jeannie's husband went to the can? Because of Jeannie, because he wanted to get away from her. That's why. But let me tell you something. Nobody goes to jail unless they want to, unless they make themselves get caught. They don't have things organized. I know what I'm doing. I've got things organized with these guys. You know who goes to jail? Nigger stick-up men. That's who. You know why they get caught? Because they fall asleep in the getaway car, Karen. Come on, don't worry so much, sweetie.
I think I've uncovered some anti-Semitism in these movies, and what I don't understand is why Marco Scorsese is able to get away with this. Maybe there are certain people whose feelings you can hurt, certain people whose you can insult because they don't have the resources to stop you from doing anything. And maybe before Kyrie Irving has to go apologize to the Jewish community, maybe they should apologize to us first. Maybe we're owed an apology. Do I have to play 200 clips of The Sopranos? Tell me do I need to go play 200 clips in this school? Because I'll do it if you need me to. I'll go play 200 videos of the word moulignon, eggplant, darky, nigger, shine, which means shoe shine, people. Bring me your shine, what they call black people shines, which means shoe shiners. I could bring in 200 clips of gangster movies. I could probably get 100 out of The Sopranos alone. I could just keep going. These movies aren't just shared on Instagram. These are considered movie classics, iconic movies played every day. Oscar, Jesus Christ, give him a hand. Oscar-winning movies. Kyrie Irving can't share a clip of one movie that Jewish people might find offensive. They can't take any offense. We can, though. Are we punching bags where we can take all the abuse, all the suffering? They can't just allow someone to share a movie that they don't like? That's a hell of a thing. And let me tell you something else. Who said the movie was anti-Semitic? There's only one way you could say the movie was anti-Semitic. Who wants to blow my mind with the answer? This liquor tastes terrible. It doesn't. It's excellent. Just so I can let you know. But let's use that. This liquor is excellent. There's only one way I could know that. Asher?
Is if you either tasted it or watched the movie.
No, there's only one way I could know that the liquor is excellent, and that's if
you tasted it.
I tasted it. So are you telling me that you are not allowed to watch this movie? Somebody is, though. Somebody watched the movie and said, this is anti-Semitic. No one else can watch it. Damn. So you're telling me that you can watch it. He is allowed to watch it. He'll determine this movie is terrible. And then no one else can watch it? Yo, that's a lot of power, brother. Like, can you imagine somebody saying, this food is terrible? And then you'll go, I'll try it for myself. No, you won't. I told you it's terrible. And now you ain't allowed to try it. You go, wait a minute, maybe I like it. No, you're not allowed to decide if you're going to like that. You can't eat it because it's terrible. Damn. The thought of it is wild in that, okay, they think it's bad. How do they know I'll think it's bad? Maybe I'll look at it and go, no, it ain't so bad. It's all right. No. You ain't going to even see it. You better condemn this movie. And no one, then Amazon took it down. So now you can't even watch it. They've decided that it's bad. Somebody decided, somebody who watched it. Or did they even watch it? Or did they just look at the title and say, it's bad? And now you can't watch it. That's a lot of power, brother. That's some strong magic, brother. That's strong. Asher, what do you have? Now, these are the movies that we should get an apology for these movies. So step one of the apology tour, since Kyrie Irving has to condemn this movie, I want The Godfather condemned, and Goodfellas condemned, and The Sopranos condemned. And if you are not going to condemn The Godfather, then why don't you just let one black man share a movie link? Why don't you just let him do it? Since The Godfather will be on this week, sometime this week, you will scan through your TV and The Godfather will be on. So since that's going to happen, I'm not going to go into Jar Jar Binks and that goddamn Star Wars. That Jar Jar Binks in that Star Wars movie was such an insult to every black person Jar Jar Binks and that Star Wars Phantom Menace will be on this week. It'll be on TV. It'll be sitting there. Maybe one brother should just share a movie link, and then you can decide for yourself whether it's anti-Semitic or not. Let me give you one more thing. Give me the news stories you have. So wait, what was the next thing on the list? The first one was condemn the movie.
Make a $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes.
So now, how much money has oh Jesus Christ? He has to give $500,000 to anti-hate causes. Let me show you who should do something with their money, right? Since Kyrie Irving has to give $500,000 to some anti-hate cause, let me show you what should be done with $500,000. Play this, and then give me the other one in Brooklyn about the Section 8s.
Concert.
The one you had, or the Section 8 one, either one is fine.
Concert. Hold on 1 second. It says so back to the forward article from Monique. It says that as a prerequisite for attending Pesach Seder, the rabbi
Pesach Seder is the Passover dinner.
Concert.
That's what it is. It's a prerequisite for attending a Passover dinner or Pesach Seder. Go ahead. And in Yiddish, Seder is Yiddish. Go ahead.
The rabbi interrogated Monique. Why do you want to be Jewish?
So this is a black woman that wanted to go to a Passover dinner. Go ahead.
You know how hard it is going to be to find a husband for you? No one will marry you because you're black.
This is a true story in the news. And she wanted to just eat the dinner with them. Eat the Passover dinner with them. And he's telling her, listen, don't be Jewish, because no Jewish man will want to marry you because you're black. Keep going.
Monique held back her tears, determined not to let the rabbi see that he had cut her so deeply. But it's not the adults who would wound her the most. It's the kids, because they vocalize what their parents say behind her back. Why are you black? They asked. Did you do something wrong? The kids also called her darky and other slurs in Yiddish.
Sfatsa. Sfatsa is a Jewish slur for black people. Sfatsa. Go ahead.
At the Shabbat table, she would get into arguments with guests who would say that black people were ghetto or uncultured or dirty. Monique always heard comments like these with a caveat. She was a good one.
Yeah, that's the old. If you're from the South, or I'm sure it's made it up here to New York as well. There was a time, and it's probably still going on, when good black people would hear the word nigger and think they're not talking about me because I'm not ignorant. Who grew up thinking that the word nigger meant ignorant? Raise your hand. Oh, that was a big thing, right? So then that way, if someone is called a nigger, you could say, well, they're a nigger, but my pants aren't sagging. I have a high school diploma. I have a job. I'm not a nigger. That is a lie. That's a way for black people who want to assimilate, who want to give up their integrity to please white people. That's the way that you don't have to be offended by nigger, because you're one of the good ones. You're not a nigger. You know, the niggers are the ignorant black people, not like you. You go to school. You have a job. That's a lie. How much money did this man have to pay for this? Did he pay $500,000? He's sitting in Brooklyn right now. He's sitting over a giant synagogue. He paid nothing for it. Maybe he should pay first. Let me tell you who else should pay. The slumlords in New York.
Right.
This city is full, drowning in slumlords that pay no cost at all, no fine, no penalty at all for being inhuman to the people that pay them rent every month. The New York slumlords. I'll give you a story. Karayala gave me the story. You want to bring it out? Give him the microphone. Play the clip there from Karayala. Karayala, you from Brooklyn?
I was born out there, but
you stayed a long while. You was born in Brooklyn. Raise your hand if you're born in Brooklyn in here. Most High in Christ. You know what the hell I'm talking about in Brooklyn. These slumlords in Brooklyn who use their religion as a license to hurt people who are not in their religion. How evil can you be, Ak? Do we do that in the UPK? Huh? Do we treat people like garbage because they're not in our school? Where is the white man that can say we hurt him? Huh? Where is the white man that can say we treated him like garbage? None of them can say it. We don't hurt white people. We don't steal from white people. We don't harm. We don't do scams and abuse white people. Now, where is the white man that can say the same thing? Now, Kyrie Irving has to pay $500,000. Let me show you a story about people who are paying nothing. Please play it. Read that.
It says Hasidic neighborhood in South Williamsburg is a top beneficiary of Section 8, but some questions whether the law is strictly followed.
A top beneficiary of Section 8. Section 8, by now, every Black and Hispanic knows what Section 8 is. Hold your point. Section 8 is the government program that gives housing assistance to poor people. And in your mind, Black people are the only ones getting welfare, the only ones getting Section 8. The largest group in New York that gets Section 8 is Jewish people. It's here. It's right here. There is no one in New York that gets more Section 8 homes than Jewish people. You would never know this because no one has to apologize and no one loses their job and no one has to pay $500,000. But it is a fact. Please. Yeah, they're going to be amazingly successful entrepreneurs and have a Section 8 house and have a Section 8 building. Hold your point. I don't have much time. Please play it, and then Karayala, you break it down for him. Go ahead.
So like I said, it says New York City's 123,000 vouchers makes this the largest Section 8 voucher program in the country.
In the what?
In the country.
In the what?
In the country.
There is no city with more Section 8 vouchers than New York. You have the most Section 8 vouchers in the country right here in New York. Keep going.
Reluctant landlords and rising rents are making vouchers nearly impossible to use in many areas of the city.
But these Section 8 vouchers are getting harder and harder to use, which I know a lot of Blacks and Hispanics know already. It's hard to get one. It's hard to find a place that will use them. It's rough. Keep going.
Tenants, especially larger families, are often regulated to the edges of Brooklyn and the Bronx.
So now, because of that, you can't be in Brooklyn anymore. You got to go on the outskirts of Brooklyn if you want to use your Section 8. Karayala, just stop me when you want. Go ahead.
That's why this cluster of Hasidic households stands out.
That's why you got this place in Brooklyn that has all these Section 8 vouchers when no one else can get them. People got to leave Brooklyn to get it. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, sir. It says it's only possible in a tight-knit community where the haves help the have-nots.
Where the what?
The haves help the have-nots.
Where the what?
Where the haves help the have-nots.
Here we go again. Let me tell you something else about the so-called Jewish man. And once again, he calls himself Jewish because he is like a Jew, similar to a Jew, but not a Jew. Like the term bluish or brownish or the TV show Blackish, right? There's or childish. It doesn't mean you're a child, but you kind of act like a child. They're not Jews, but they kind of act like Jews. Well, there's a Jewish community that is so strange because at a time when you can't get a Section 8 house, no one can get one. They have all of them. Keep going.
Said Rabbi David Niederman, a community leader and local power broker.
David Niederman, remember that name. David, let's see how much he paid. Let's see if he paid $500,000. David Niederman, keep going.
We have people keeping the price lower, said Niederman, executive director of United Jewish Organizations of Williamsburg. Even a person living on Section 8 can pay the monthly rentals. It says, there's a cash economy and things are done strictly according to the law, said Marty Niederman.
You know what that means? Meaning when they deal with each other, the people who have money help the ones who don't have money. and they deal with each other according to the law. What law is he talking about? The law of the Torah, the law in the Old Testament. They help each other. So the rich among their people help the poor among their people, and they deal with each other according to the law. So because of that, they're able to gobble up everything. And this is one of my main complaints with so-called Jewish people. And focusing on my question here. How are Jewish people insulted by a compliment? That part I don't understand. If you listen, here's what people say about black men. All black men have big penises. You've heard that before, right? Who in the hell complains about that? Ain't nobody complaining about that. Why? Because it's a compliment. If we say Jewish people have money and they're successful and they stick together, you're mad about us saying that? That's an insult. We say Jewish people own everything in Brooklyn. That upsets you? You're mad about a compliment. You own everything. You have everything. You stick together. You're powerful. And those of you with money help those of you without money. You know what they'll call that? Anti-Semitic. That's wrong to say. If you say all black men have big penises, no problem. Keep saying it. Say it every day, because it's a compliment. Who in the hell gets upset about a compliment? Who in the hell would do that? They do it. They do it because for some reason, praising how they stick together and how they're loyal to each other is insulting to them. That they'll have to explain to me, because that part I don't understand. Keep playing.
Concert. As we scroll down, it said in the late 1990s, Hasidic developers quietly began to petition the city to let them convert old factories and warehouses bought cheap into housing. Building by building, the Board of Standards and Appeals, a little-known quasi-judicial agency, granted the zoning variances in Williamsburg and Bed-Stuy. It says in 1999, Legal Services unsuccessfully sued to stop the conversions, arguing the Standards Board was subverting zoning rules, and violating anti-discrimination laws. So meaning the city started to see that they were discriminating against non-Jewish people, discriminating against blacks and specifically Puerto Ricans in New York. And they were discriminating in housing, meaning they were only helping people who were Jewish. They weren't helping anyone else. The city tried to sue them and lost. Keep going. The suit also claimed the large apartments were designed for Hasidic families. Read that again. The large apartments were designed for Hasidic families. That was in the lawsuit. Right. That they designed them for Hasidic Jewish families. Keep going. And were advertised only in Yiddish language newspapers. And so this is a large apartment, beautiful, Section 8, except the advertising for it is in Yiddish. So no one can even know about it if you don't speak Yiddish. They got sued over that. Did they pay $500,000 for this? They paid nothing for it. Nothing. Keep going. Let me know, Kurayala. Go ahead. Leaving black and Latino residents. Leaving what? Leaving black and Latino residents out in the cold. Show me that phrase, black and Latino. Yes, sir. Why is that in everything? Like, we didn't put that there. You understand? Like, okay, this is in the New York Daily News. General Yohana didn't write this. This is in the New York Daily News. In the New York Daily News, it's saying they discriminated against blacks and Latinos. Blacks, the 12 tribe sign. The same sign we take to camp. The New York Daily News is saying they discriminated against them. How much did they pay for this? Nothing. That's what they paid. Nothing. Karayala.
And also, like, with blacks and Latinos, like, it's a waiting list that's like 2-3 years. You got to wait just to get in. But with them, they would take tour buses up to like Muncie, New York, Monroe, and they have their own special welfare buildings that they'll go to. So that's why it's not apparent for us to see that, because they'll be taking tour buses up there to go to the welfare. Like this guy was funding them, that organization. So they'll get on it, hold all the they own like maybe 80%, 90% of the vouchers for New York City. So that's why like for like anybody that's been on it or Section 8 is like a long waiting period.
Yeah.
Because they close it out. By the time they open up, they're already gobbling up. They already have it. So with that being said, it's like Amalek owns like 90% of the real estate out here. Now
Amalek is a biblical name for that particular tribe of Edomite or white person. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And so what it is that when they get those vouchers, they're getting money from the government for them. They're doing the same things. They condemning like a lot of our brothers and sisters that's on Section 8, but they doing the same thing because what they would do is they'll go there and say they don't know where the father's at. So they're single mother with kids. So they'll get the voucher and they'll get 100% of their rent paid.
That's what Karaya Allah is bringing out is in this story, where the so-called Jewish people will have the woman apply for the Section 8, saying that she's single. She gets the Section 8 and she has a husband. And so that way they can keep all of the husband's money and at the same time pay a very cheap rent. And they're doing it and they're not condemned for it. No one says they're welfare frauds or welfare cheats. They just do it. They keep it among themselves. And they're a success because of it. And I know we'll do a class on this later, but all of this is based on biblical law. Every last bit of it. Even the hiding how successful they are. That's straight from how Joseph told the Israelites to come into Egypt and to lie to them and tell them that they were sheep herders so that they could be separate and so that the Egyptians wouldn't know how successful they are. And they grew into the land of Goshen in Egypt, successful based on biblical law. The so-called white man that calls himself Jewish has used your laws to prosper in this strange land. Why is it so hateful for us to want to use these laws when they're ours anyway? Why? How is it anti-Semitic when clearly it has worked for you? If it's working, why can't we do it? Why aren't we allowed to just do the same thing? Why can't we have our own neighborhoods? Give me the story. Everyone should read this. Post this online so everyone can read it. Give me the one about the brother that they damn near beat to death because Jewish people police their own neighborhoods. We just went through 3 years of violence with the police. The whole movement, defund the police, came because of George Floyd. What's the brother out here in Brooklyn that got choked to death? The big brother. Eric Gardner, where was that at? Staten Island. Eric Gardner, come on. Highly girly, but think about all of the murder that was committed by New York police officers that created revolutions all across the world in some cases. With George Floyd over there in what is it? Wisconsin, Minnesota. Eric, what's the brother right here? Eric Gardner. Eric Gardner. What's his name? Sean Bell. I mean, think about all of how infamous New York police are with the stop and frisk and Giuliani and all of the abuse committed by New York police officers. Let me show you what happens in Jewish neighborhoods in Brooklyn. You have it?
Yes, sir.
Play that.
Concert. This is the article that came out this October, 6, 2022. Gay black man awarded $4.5 million after he was attacked by religious patrol.
By what?
Religious patrol.
By what?
By religious patrol.
This brother was walking down the street and there was a report that somebody was breaking into cars. And in the Jewish community, they have their own police. They don't have non-Jewish police officers. They police their own community. They go down to the police district. They put in for the license that allows them to police the neighborhood, that allows them the law of posse comitatus, which means you can police yourself. There's paperwork and training you have to do. You've never heard of it, but they have it, and you could go do it on this block. You could go do it. They go and do it because they own the houses. They're the homeowners on the block, and they patrol their neighborhood. And they found this brother and beat him half to death. And they were the Jewish patrol. They police their own neighborhoods. While we have to protest because the police don't police us the way we like, we could police ourselves. They do. They police themselves. Why are we wrong for bringing out their success, their achievements, when we know their achievements come from the adherence to God's law from a people who were not intended to have that law? Can't we take that same law and become a success? And how is that insulting them? Isn't it a compliment? Isn't it, damn Jewish people, you're doing a good thing over there in Brooklyn? We're going to do it. We're going to use those laws and do it. And here's the good news. We're the people who were actually given the law. Last precept. Give me all Israel or not Israel. Give me Romans 9, then I got to go. About you. They are not all Israel that are of Israel. Go ahead.
If I may, I happen to have seen that idiot Michael Rappaport, who's been very vocal about the whole Kanye aspect.
Mm-hmm.
He basically said, if I remember his words correctly, "Oh, you're talking about how you're talking about all Jewish people. All Jewish people are not the same. We all stick together. That's what you're putting us in a box. Basically, you're supporting a stereotype that Jewish people stick together."
Right. This is like the brother. The white man that had a question earlier. Some people are very, very egocentric, and if you say anything at all that's negative about the group they're a part of, they will take it personally. Let me tell you something else. We're against how the police abuse black people. Does every single cop abuse black people? Answer. Who wants to give it a shot? Raise your hand. No. Every single last cop is not abusive. There are some police officers who do their job with kindness and professionalism. There are when women say that all men are dogs, do they mean that their son is a dog? Every last man with a penis is a dog? I believe that there are some men that would be considered considerate and kind and caring. When some men say, bitches ain't shit, I believe they're not talking about their mother or every single woman. I believe when people speak about a sect or a segment of society and the wrong that they've done, they're not talking about every single last person. And neither is the UPK. We're not talking about every single person of any job or genre or ethnicity. What we're speaking about is how the plurality of this group has used their power to hurt the plurality of our group. It's in general. It's not specific. You could never prove that every single white man, white cop is beating a black person. You couldn't prove that because that's not true. But you can prove that as a system, as a group, there is a system that oppresses black people and the police are their arm. That would be easy to prove and it can't be denied. And you absolutely can prove that there is a system in America that oppresses black people. That is easy to prove. It can't be denied. The UPK is not saying every single white person beats black people. Every single white person is oppressing black people. That's you thinking that because you're egocentric. I'll show you. If you say the word bitch, the woman that says, you talking about me, she's egocentric. Because we're not talking about you. But there are some bitches, aren't there? Yeah. All right, some women, give them a hand. Some women, the UPK, sometimes we'll use the word bitch when we speak about women, right? We're not speaking about every single last woman. I would hope that you know that, but you probably don't if you're egocentric. If everything you hear, you think is talking to you. Every single thing is talking about you. We're not talking about every woman. And the UPK, we have excellent sisters in here.
Right.
Excellent sisters.
Right.
And when we talk about dirty, no good, low down bitches, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the people who do these things. That should be easy. Why do I got to break this down? This should be something that everybody knows, Sock. We're not speaking in specific about anyone. We're talking about the system. The word, the white man, is an old word from the 60s. It got modified to the man. Who ever heard that term before? The man has his foot on my back. That's in every old song I listen to. The man has his foot on my back. The man keeps me down. Before they said the man, they said the white man. You got to go a little deeper earlier into the 60s. By the 70s, it was the man is keeping me down. The man has his foot on my back. That's it. The man is talking about a plurality, the system, the society. Everybody understands, all right? You get the point about you, all right? Come on.
The number of the man is 660. Not all white people are 666, but
that's the government of it. Michael Rappaport, who in the hell knows him? I'm sure he, you know, has sex with black women,
right?
Listens to rap, and he thinks he's a good person. Who knows? I don't know who the hell he even is. I'm not talking about each individual white man. I'm talking about the society that white men need to step up and condemn more than they do. That much I do know. You know who's at the root of this? White rabbis. Where are the rabbis fighting for black people when their own people abuse black people in the music business, in the housing business, in the wait a minute. These people that own these Section 8 houses and that discriminate against blacks and Hispanics, what are their rabbis saying about it? Why aren't Jewish rabbis stepping up to stop what Jewish people are doing in their synagogue to oppress and abuse blacks and Hispanics? Why aren't their rabbis saying something? Why do we have to say something? Why don't they speak in Yiddish and tell their people, stop abusing blacks and Hispanics in the Section 8 market? Stop being slumlords. Stop abusing them in the music business. Why aren't rabbis policing those of their people who are doing evil things to blacks and Hispanics? Meanwhile, if we say something about it, we're so goddamn evil. You know what? We'll just have to do it. Give me the last part about Kyrie Irving. I got to get the hell out of here. I got the last part. Read the rest of them. Come on.
I got the precept you asked for.
I'm sorry. Come on. What do you want to say?
I got the precept you asked for.
Hold that. Go ahead. Read the rest of them.
He has to go through sensitivity.
He got to go through sensitivity training. Go ahead.
Anti-Semitic training.
Whatever that is. Anti-Semitic training. Go ahead.
Meet with the Anti-Defamation League.
Good Lord.
And Jewish leaders.
Meet with Jewish leaders and the Anti-Defamation League. That's a league that hates us.
Right.
That league has been fighting us for many years. I know them well. Keep going.
And he has to meet with Joe Tsai, the owner of the Nets,
Jesus
to
Christ.
demonstrate his understanding.
Joe Tsai wouldn't happen to be, I'm not going to say. Anyway, he has to do all of these things. And let me tell you something else that white people keep for themselves, which is what they're trying to take from this brother. Not only will they not share Brooklyn with you, not only will they not share ownership in the NBA with you or the NFL or a coaching job with you, not only will they not share their portion of America or South and Central America with you, white people will not share self-respect. They're doing this to Kyrie Irving to steal his self-respect, because not only will they steal your identity and your nationality, you can't even have dignity. They're taking his dignity. All of these things are things simply to strip him of his dignity. He's put in a position now that either he does these things, which will make him something that is not a man, or he'll do them and he'll have no dignity. Karayala. They're buck breaking him. That's an old practice that many of you know about now, that they would do with a rebellious slave, and many times they would rape him or put something in his behind to make him feel like he's not a man. And then after that, he doesn't rebel anymore. That was a practice down south. White people won't even share dignity with you. God damn, you won't allow us to have the city or have a neighborhood. We can't just feel good about ourselves. We can't just have dignity. We have to lose that as well. If Kyrie Irving loves this movie and tells everybody to watch it, he is still going to be a nigger. He will still be looked down upon by everyone who is not a nigger. He can't just have self-respect. That's something that he's not allowed to have either. That's the point of this. And once again, if he has to do it, who else should? I believe the owners of The Godfather, they should do it. I believe the Hasidic community in Brooklyn, they should do it. They should pay $500,000. The owners of the Goodfellas movie, The Sopranos, every gangster movie that you can think of, they should do it too, right? They should do the same thing, but they're not going to have to do it because they're allowed to have their self-respect. We are going to have to take our self-respect. You understand me? We're going to have to take it against their will. They don't want you to have dignity, and you'll have to strip it out of their hands. You'll have to take dignity for yourself. Last precept, and I got to go. Last precept, go.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 6. Not as though the word of God have taken more effect.
Now remember, in Romans 9, the Most High said that Israel pertaineth to the adoption and the glory and the giving of the law and the service of the law and the covenants. All of that belongs to Israel. Go ahead.
For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel.
Read that again.
For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel.
For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. What does it mean to be of Israel? Give me the precept I need. They are not all be, so like Christ said, be in the world, but not of it. Read that precept, that's all you need. Christ said, be ye therefore in the world, but not of the world. Who wants to break that down for me? Am I missing something online here before I go?
13 questions.
Next week, Akim. All right, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, everyone who had a question, they can call Cross the Line.
Call Cross the Line and ask your question on Cross the Line. That will happen immediately after this class. All right, Cross the Line with Captain Tazar Yakin Katazar. Come on, 1 second, Ak. Go ahead. Unless you have it. Do you have the be ye not in the world but of it? Be ye not of the world but in it? New Testament. If you have it, go ahead and read it quickly. If not, I'll paraphrase it for you. Christ said, be ye therefore in the world, but not of the world.
Right.
Be ye in the world, but not of it. Meaning you can be here in the society. You live in America, in Puerto Rico, in Brooklyn, in Houston, in the UK, but don't be of the UK. Right. Don't be of Brooklyn. Don't be of Harlem. Meaning what? Don't act like the people in the society that you live in. Well, Paul said this, they are not all Israel that are of Israel. Who can break that down for me? Read it one more time, Romans 9, come on.
For they are not all Israel.
They are not all Israel, go ahead.
Which are of Israel.
Which are of Israel. They are not all Israel, which are of Israel. This is all you need. What does it mean to be of Israel? I just explained what of the world is. What does it mean to be of Israel? Let me let someone online give it a shot. Asher.
Nothing right now.
What does it mean to be of Israel? Young brother right here. Microphone.
Salaki, I don't want. It means like if you're of Israel, you're actually following the teachings of Christ. You're following the laws and commandments of God. But
no,
okay,
they are not all. Okay, you're right, but you're not bringing me home. They are not Israel. Now remember that part. They're not Israel, but they're of Israel. How about this? Same brother. What does it mean to not be Israel? What does that mean?
To be a Gentile, or
what does that mean to be a Gentile?
You're following heathenistic ways, or your bloodline is a Gentile.
Okay,
like
but let's say you're following heathen ways. Does that mean you're not Israel?
No.
Okay, so what does it mean to not be Israel?
Okay, to not be Israel, to not be Israel would be like celebrating birthdays or.
So then, because you're a Christian, you're not Israel. Is that what you're saying?
Come.
No, you can be Israel and be a Gentile, which is why which is why Paul said the Gentiles do by nature, which is contained in the law, meaning they're Gentiles, but naturally they're Israel. By nature, they're Israel. So what does it mean to not be Israel? Young man.
Mean that like a Jewish man who's practicing our customs and proclaiming that they're following our laws, but are not actually Israel.
Give him a hand. That's exactly what it means. Meaning, remember, Romans 9:1 says, what verse are we in right now? From the top, go fast.
Romans chapter 9, verse 1. I say the truth in Christ, I lie not.
This is not a lie.
My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit.
His conscience knows he's telling the truth, so he feels right to say this. You might think this is anti-Semitic. You might think this is racist, but Paul has no problem with saying this. His conscience is clear. This is not wrong. This is not racist. This is not anti-Semitic. This is true. Keep going.
Verse 2, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart.
He is sad. Go ahead.
Verse 3, for I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ.
The word accursed means separate. He could wish that he was not with Christ. Keep going.
For my brethren.
For his what?
Brethren.
For his religion.
Brethren.
For his brethren. Go ahead.
My kinsmen.
His kinsmen. You know what a kinfolk are, right? Your physical family, your flesh and blood. For his brothers, his kinsmen. Go ahead.
According to the flesh.
According to religion.
To the flesh.
According to belief.
To the flesh.
According to the flesh. Keep going.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Israelites.
Who are what?
Israelites.
That's his flesh. That's his brethren, not his belief, not his religion, but his blood, his flesh and blood. Keep going.
To whom pertaineth the adoption?
To whom pertain the adoption? What's the adoption? Coming back to the Father, though you were thrown away from the Father. Now you get to come back. That's the adoption. Keep going.
And
who
the
does that
glory,
pertain? Who does the adoption pertain to?
The Israelites.
Keep going.
And the glory.
What is the glory? David killing Goliath, the splitting of the Red Sea, the dead rising again by the hand of Jesus Christ. Those things are famous and glorious. Who does that pertain to?
The Israelites.
Keep going.
And the covenants.
What are the covenants? Say it again.
The covenants.
With an S on the end, which means the old covenant and the new covenant. Who does that pertain to?
The Israelites.
Keep going.
And the giving of the law.
Who was the law given to?
The Israelites.
That's what it says right there. Keep going.
And the service of God.
What is the service of God? The priesthood. Who are the servants of God? The priests. Who does that pertain to?
The Israelites.
Keep going.
And the promises.
What are the promises? The kingdom of heaven. Every green tree, every hill, every gold mine, the rulership of the planet Earth. Who does that pertain to?
The Israelites.
Keep going.
Whose are the fathers?
And the Father belongs to us, and we belong to him. We belong to God. We're his children, which is why we call him our Father. Not everybody's Father, but our Father, because we are the
Israelites.
Keep going.
And of whom, as concerning the flesh.
And of whom? Who is the whom? Who is the whom?
The Israelites.
And of the Israelites, as concerning the flesh of the Israelites.
Christ came.
Christ what?
Came.
Christ what?
Came.
Who did Christ come for?
The Israelites.
That's what it says right here in Romans 9. It's right here. Right in front of you. It's here, right there. Plain as day. Keep going.
Who is over all.
And he's over everybody. He's in charge of everything and everyone. Keep going.
God bless forever.
And God blessed forever. Keep going.
Amen.
Amen. So be it. Keep going.
Verse 6. Not as though the word of God have taken more effect.
Not as
none
though the
effect.
word. Read it one more time.
Not as though the word of God have taken none effect.
Now you might read that and think the word of God has no effect. You might read that the Israelites have the adoption, have the law, the giving of the law, the glory, and Christ came for the Israelites. You might think that that has no effect. Why? Why might you think that that has no effect? Why might you think that what God said does not matter? This is why. Keep reading.
For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel.
You know why you think that God's words don't matter? Because the people who you learn from are not actually Israelites.
Right.
They're just of Israel. The so-called white man that calls himself a Jew is of the Jews. He's of Israel. The Christians who you think are the saints are of Israel. The Muslims who follow Musa and they believe in the Old Testament, they are of Israel. The Christians that swear themselves in on the Bible this election year, they are of Israel, but they are not Israel. And because of Brakatha Yahweh Yahushai. Anything else?
Verse 7, sir.
Do I need it?
Come, sir.
Go ahead.
Neither because they are the seed of Abraham.
Neither because they are the seed of Abraham. Who is the seed of Abraham? Isaac. Isaac is the seed of Abraham, but he's the only one that God preferred and accepted. God had Abraham also had Ishmael as a son. So it doesn't matter that you come from Abraham unless you come from Isaac, which is what this is about to say. Go ahead.
Are they all children?
Neither if they're the seed of Abraham are they all children. All of Abraham's children aren't the seed of Abraham. Only one is counted as the seed. Come on. Okay, whatever. All right, go ahead.
But in Isaac.
And what?
Isaac.
And what?
Isaac.
Go ahead.
Shall thy seed be called.
So if you don't come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you, of course, are not an Israelite. All right, Jewish people are not Israelites, and they're telling you it in their name, saying that they're not it. With that, pass the class over to the officer in the back.
Sure.
Men of Israel,